to another episode of Closer Encounters. I am your host, Clarence Mitchell, coming to you live from somewhere in Minnesota. Would you like to be a guest on Closer Encounters? Or maybe you know someone that would like to be a guest on Closer Encounters. Or maybe you have a story to share. Well, please, shoot us an email. closerencounters.info@gmail.com. Again, that's closerencounters.info@gmail.com. For everything Closer Encounters, updates, all things going on, check us out, www.facebook.com/Closer Encounters Radio. Again, www.facebook.com/Closer Encounters Radio. And please don't forget to like, follow, and share. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Closer Encounters. How's everybody doing? Wow, we got a group full tonight. Look at that. I got like 15 viewers already. That's awesome. I want to say hi to Rob, VJ, Eric, all you people that's out there. I'm not sure who's all in YouTube here. I'm not catching the, let me see here if I can switch this over. I should be seeing all of them, anybody that's in here. So, yeah, okay. Most everybody's on Facebook, so that's cool. Awesome. Yeah, see, that's the problem. Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you get more on YouTube. Sometimes you get more on Facebook. But, yeah, here we are. Cool. So, happy leap year, everybody. I know today is the 1st of March. Yesterday was the 29th. I forgot all about it being leap year this year. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I'm like, wow, what happened? If by chance, Rob, if by chance you guys hear any kind of glitches or anything going on there, shoot me a message, would you? And let me know. I'm still kind of new with this platform. And would love to, make sure that everything's running right and whatever. So if you spot something that isn't quite right or, whatever, please give me a shout and let me know. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I still need a new webcam. This thing is like fuzzy, hopefully here in the next few weeks or whatever, we can get that taken care of. Then it won't be so bad. And actually, I don't like where it's sitting either. It's kind of off to the one side, so I'm not looking right at it. So I like to be able to get it up above me here a little bit so I can actually see it, according to the screen and stuff. So But we'll get all that. It's just minor detail stuff. We'll get that all figured out here eventually. So anyway, Mr. Rob, I see you were doing a lot of posting in your group there and different other places there, and then the ufology, my religion group. Very pretty cool. A lot of good stuff here going on. Did you get your site up and running again? Your website there, or are you still kind of working on that? Just kind of curious what was going on there. I haven't been able to talk to nobody in a couple of days. I'll tell you what happened. It was kind of crazy stuff with the internet stuff going on. But yeah, I wound up changing companies again. I tell you, it doesn't matter who you go with anymore. It's just ridiculous what they do. But I was having telephone issues and different other things. And come to find out, the internet provider that I had could only give me so much internet. And they were charging me the same price as another company that I could get 10 times as much. So I wound up switching over. So, yeah, there you go. So, hello, Gail. How are you? I see Gail's with us. She's on YouTube tonight. That's cool. So I know they're both working. Rob says, let's see here. I can bring that right up here. I got the YouTube channel, but no vids yet. I will have live content of me just talking this week towards the end of the week. Cool. Good deal. Yeah, let us know ahead of time, and we can post that up for you and spread that around so people will know. That'd be awesome. Good deal. Good deal. Oh, let's see here. Yeah. Cool. Alrighty. Yeah. What do you guys think about this coronavirus? What in the hell is going on? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I see so many posts and different things about this that it just drives me up a freaking wall. You know, I actually seen a post. I'll tell you how people are thinking. I actually seen a post, and I almost think it was in Facebook, but don't get me on that. It might have been someplace else, but they're saying that that this coronavirus thing was deliberately given to people so they can start performing martial law in the United States. Can you believe that? Somebody actually wrote that. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, this is conspiracy 101, Yeah, Scruffy. Hello, Scruffy. He says media scare tactics. I tell you, this is, Jeff says, yeah, it's overblown. This is nuts. What the hell is wrong with people? You know what I'm saying? Man, oh man. This is nothing compared to what it was back a few years ago. You guys remember that other big virus that went around? That thing swept through like no tomorrow, But, oh my gosh, I think a lot of this is political to begin with. They just blow this thing so far out of proportion. It's unbelievable. Now, I know, don't get me wrong, it's a bad thing, but man, oh man, what they're doing is just totally wrong, especially on TV and the news and different other things. I just, they need to step back a little bit, it's just ridiculous. So, Tojo Melville, oh, hi, watching from England. Cool, thank you. Very good. And welcome. Thank you very much. I mean, I have to laugh because the first thing I thought of, I'm going to play this for you. And I want people to please, this is crazy. Oh my goodness.
Remain calm. All is well.
I'm going to play that again. That's funny. How many of you guys remember that? Oh, my bad or what? Oh, too funny. Remain calm. Oh, Lord. Uh, BJ says coronavirus is not new. It's been listed on the Lysol spray cans as one of the viruses that kills for years. So that all tells me the media hype to stir up the public. Well, it's funny because I was doing some checking in on that because I do know that there are certain disinfectants, including Lysol and that do have coronavirus in it. And it's really not the same thing, but it is. It's all the same kind of strain, but, different variations. But yeah, you'll find coronavirus in a lot of different things. It's unbelievable. So yeah. And why they call it just plain coronavirus, I really don't know. It's just, it's kind of crazy. But you think they give it some other kind of name, but unbelievable. But yeah, I just hope people don't go too crazy on it. I was talking to my mom yesterday. She called me. God bless her soul. I mean, she's up in years and stuff, and I understand, but she's all worried. And, she was talking about going out and buying masks and all kind of stuff. And, you know, it all mutates. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Yep. But, it's no different than having, as far as I'm concerned, catching pneumonia or anything like that. Kevin says it's going to wreck the stock markets probably. Yeah, and that's exactly what it's doing. If you notice that the stock market's dropped, quite a bit over this shit. And like I said, it's got people all scared to death and carrying on. We've had one death so far in the United States, and it's in Washington State. And it was an elderly man who's in a nursing home. Okay. And you can look this up. It's on the news and stuff like that. And some of the people in the nursing home now has come down with it. The problem they're having is they can't figure out how in the hell did it get in Washington State in a nursing home. So obviously someone visited somebody there that it was already contagious and had spread it. So what do you do with that? The thing is, and I hope people get this through their head. If you're sick or you feel sick, stay the hell home. Don't go out in public. What the hell's the matter with you? You know what I mean? Gee whiz. Yeah, exactly. The guy who died had underlying medical issues. Absolutely. So, the older you get, people like me that have bad lungs and stuff like that, you're going to be more susceptible to this stuff. It's not, it's not like young people that are pretty well, up to snuff or coming down with this or anything. This is attacking mostly, middle age and people that are already sick or have something else going on. So you just got to be careful, wash your hands, do your thing that you're supposed to be doing, whatever. And if you're sick, go see a doctor and stay the hell home. Don't go out spreading it around. I don't know why people do that. They, they go out and they hack all over everybody else and then they get everybody else sick. You know what I'm saying? So if you're sick or your kid's sick, don't send your kid to school either. You know what I mean? Keep them home. do whatever you got to do. But come on, use your head. I never understood people like that. They always got to run out and get everybody else sick. Crazy stuff. I hate going to the doctor, afraid of catching the stuff there. Yeah, and I know what you're saying, BJ. Yeah, honestly, Scruffy says probably stuff in the home. I worked healthcare. You need to work to survive, sick or not. Drag your butt to work. Yeah, but but my thing is, Scruffy, with that is the thing that you know. I get what you're saying. I do, but in this kind of a circumstance, unless you know that you really don't have it, you know what I mean. The least you can do is go get checked out first before you spread it around. Save somebody else the headache or the thing. But it's a nice theory. Stay home, lab. Man, we can't afford to take the time off. Well, yeah, I get that. I do. I understand. Hello, Julie. See Julie with us. But yeah, I mean, it's just you go into Walmart or places like that where there's a whole group of people and that you don't know. You're handling the same shopping carts, and that's another thing. These places like these grocery stores and that, you don't see them wiping nothing down. You don't know how many times people handled a certain thing, and they don't go behind them and clean up. You know what I'm saying? So you're taking a risk. I mean, seriously. So you got to be careful yourself, whatever. And, just be safe, Yeah, it's crazy stuff. I mean, yeah, it's scary, to a point, but you just got to be aware. But this whole mass panic thing that they got going on right now, trying to scare the hell out of people, I just don't agree with that at all. I mean, yeah, make us aware, whatever. But BJ says, yeah, healthcare workers are exposed to everything. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, hello, Omar. How are you? Cool. Julie says, take your B vitamins, vitamin C, zinc is good as well. Eat well, get good sleep, and yes, wash your hands. Absolutely. Absolutely. You couldn't say it better than that. Yep. Rob says, grocery store walking through the gauntlet. Exactly. Hey, Mr. Brandon, how are you, sir? Glad to see you. Fantastic. Ah, cool. Yeah. BJ says she carries Purell. Never used it. Never used to. Yeah. Well, I mean, in this day and age, you just don't know anymore. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's just with the news media and stuff going on and stuff like that. I just don't understand their reasoning, what they're doing. They got this big thing going on. Hello, David. How are you, sir? Glad to see you with us. So yeah, just big panic. But yeah, that post I seen about martial law, that was just ridiculous. Are you kidding me? Let's not get a big conspiracy thing going on here. It's just another big flu kind of deal, whatever. I mean, worry, but not, don't panic, worry. You know what I'm saying? Just watch what you're doing, be careful. And hopefully, things will turn out. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping when this warm weather hits that, it eventually will go away. But we'll see what happens. You never know. You never know. But yeah, we had that big scare back a few years ago, if you remember. And that one was worse then than this one is. So there you go. We don't have half as many now as we did at that stage of the game. So, but, and like they say, 8,000 people or more die every year just from pneumonia alone. So, not that that's a good thing. Don't get me wrong on that. That's not what I'm saying. But, just beware, things are out there. And I use my own ink pens. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, and that's the thing. That's why I don't like carrying money anymore. I do everything with the card. I don't carry cash and stuff like that because you don't know how many tens of thousands of people have handled that money that you're putting in your pocket and stuff. You know, like I'm saying, grocery carts, another big thing, doorknobs and different things like that. Man, it's just you know, you just if you really stop and think about it, it blows your mind on how many things in everyday life that you would reuse of somebody else. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Julie says, "Be smart, stay aware." I had to get groceries Friday. An older lady started coughing. I just walked by her. I held my breath and walked to the other. Yeah, exactly. See, and that's what I'm saying. And these people that are hacking, are they covering their mouth? Are they doing anything different? You know what I'm saying? Or are they just hacking on you? You know, people don't think about things like that. Or they sneeze. Oh, God, that's the worst. I hate it. I got to be really careful myself where I go anymore, you know. Uh, the last time, you guys remember, I was in the hospital for like 6 days, and I don't want to do that again. You know. So yeah, but so far it's not as bad yet here as it could be, and let's hope that it doesn't get bad. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but just be forewarned. Be careful. Yeah, Rob says never covered her mouth. Exactly. Jeff says the local Chinese restaurant business is down. Wow, no kidding. Wow. Just use common sense. Money is filthy. Who washes their money? Yeah, and that's what I'm just saying. You know, I don't carry cash anymore just because of that. You know, I use my credit card. It's always in my pocket, and no one else touches that but me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, money is one of the dirtiest things in the world as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, bad. Careful, the feds might be listening. LOL. Yeah. Well, you know what? And that's just it, Rob. It's funny uh, how people are doing that. You know, they're all conspiracy theories and stuff like that about it. You know, uh, but yeah, that deal about the martial law thing, I couldn't believe somebody wrote that. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You know, it takes all kinds, all kinds. It's funny. Oh wow. Anyway, I wanted to mention that Omar had a watch party today of a show that him and I did with Steve Meads on the Chevault cave drawings there on the Chevault caves. Yeah. How long ago was that, Omar? If you could tell me, I forget now. A couple of years, something like that. But still to this day, uh, I'm just overwhelmed. Let's see. Brandon says nothing worse than getting sneezed on at that nasty wet mucus hole. Guaranteed the feds are listening. Yeah. Often. Omar says it was last year. Was it last year? It seems like it was longer than that. Yeah. But he did a watch party today, and if you guys haven't caught that, you really need to go watch that episode. It's like a 3-hour show that we did, and I tell you, it would just totally blow your mind when you see what Steve come up with those cave paintings and stuff. He did a lot of work. Yeah, he says maybe 2008. I almost think it was 2018. I'd have to go back in my archive and actually look at the video and see what date that was. But yeah, but what a deal. And we've been sharing it around since he did it today. But if you get a chance, you got a couple hours or whatever to sit back and actually watch that. And why still to this day, Ancient Aliens or somebody hasn't picked this up and run with it, I have no idea. But what a shame! I tell you what, one of the best put together deals that I've ever seen. I mean, seriously, it was just awesome. So Julie wants to know, how do we find it? Omar, if you got a link to it real quick, throw it right there in the chat room if you would there, sir. And let everybody get a hold of it and whatever. But put it in a bookmark or whatever, save it for later, a rainy day. And, but I highly, highly recommend you guys watch this. It really needs to be, and then if you would share it yourself, with other people and stuff and let them see it and whatever. But this has been going on for quite a while, and it really needs to get out there. People really need to see this. I'm serious. If nothing else in this world, you got to watch this. I mean, seriously, it's just awesome. Awesome show. And he's done a lot of work. There you go. Omar's posted the thing on it. I'll put it up on the screen there. So if you need to write it down, you can. I'll put that on there, but it's also in the comment section. I'll see if I can, wonder if I can share that with, let me see here. How can I do this? Can I? Oh, I see what I got to do here. Hang on. Let me see if I can copy that. Nope. Well, that's not good. I was hoping I could share that on YouTube channel, but it won't let me when I slide over it. It just has show. So yeah, I can't even share that on the other link. Maybe it shows up on both of them. I don't know. I'm hoping. Let me check something here. Does it show it on the other? I'm not sure. Who's in YouTube? Gail's in YouTube. Or yeah, Gail's in YouTube. Gail, did that come through on that side? Can you tell me that link? Or is it just in Facebook? Well, if nothing else, I'll grab it later and I'll throw it down in the description section, and we can do it that way, and then you guys can have it on both sides. So, yeah. Well, there's something I just learned about this this platform. It won't let me do that. Sorry about that, folks. So, wow. Cool. So anyway, main thing I wanted to do tonight, I wanted to see if anybody had anything they wanted to talk about or any questions, things have been going on. I am here as well. Okay, cool. If you could post it in there also, Omar. Gail says no, it didn't show up there, so it's only on the Facebook. So yeah, if you could throw it in there also, that'd be cool. Thank you. So anyway, yeah, if anybody had anything they wanted to talk about tonight or anything, it would be awesome. No, I can't, Omar, because when I put my mouse over it, it wants me to show it on the screen. That's the way this thing here is set up. It's not like I'm in YouTube or in Facebook. I'm actually outside of both of them, even though I'm showing both of them as far as chat goes and comments, but it won't allow me to pin anything or do that. Jeff says the coronavirus has exposed how many dependent U.S. and on China pharmaceuticals to products we buy. Supply chains could dry up. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Omar. He says he posted it on the YouTube stream also. Cool. Good deal. Well, as far as supply chains, they haven't got anything yet that's actually able to fix this yet. They still got to figure out what the strain is before they can even make a shot for it, you know. So, they're basically all they're doing is giving people antibiotics and, treating it like you would pneumonia or anything else, you know what I'm saying? And hoping that, that it takes hold. But yeah, 80% come from China. Exactly. Cool. I will put the YouTube link as well. Thank you. Good deal. So yeah, I mean, did anyone watch New Ancient Aliens this week? You know what? I caught part of it. And here's the thing. And correct me if I'm wrong on this. Did he say, David Childress, did he actually say that sunken city was 50,000 years old? Did he actually say that? Please tell me. Dave and I, Dave Rucker and I were talking about that in the Ancient Aliens chat room or in the group the other day. Did he actually say that or not? I got to find that out because I didn't get a chance to go back and re-listen to it, and I didn't know for sure, but it was funny. Because like Dave said, if he did say it, that would be a first that they actually broke the 12,000 year mold. Because everything to them is 12,000 years. Gail says yes, they did. Oh my goodness. Yay. Finally, someone's listening. Oh my goodness. Ain't that something? I can't believe it. Oh. Jeff says, what percentage of antibiotics are made in China? 80% U.S. supplied. Yes, absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why Trump went and did the deal between Mexico and Canada was to stop all that China pharmaceutical crap. You know what I'm saying? So VJ says, yes, that's their guess because the water levels go back that far. Yeah, absolutely. Because of the Great Flood. Yeah. Yep. So, Rob says I didn't catch that part, but it seemed like stuff they already talked about on past shows. Yes. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Yep. One giant leap for mankind, said Omar. Yeah, but that's a first. You never hear them ever, I swear to God, talk anything more than 12,000 years. It seems like everything that they put on their show is 12,000 years. 12,000 years. 12. I got so sick of hearing it. I mean, it was like I bitched about it so much. It's like, God, what is it with this 12,000 year thing, you know? And then finally last night, they said 50,000 years. I about flipped. I'm like, no, he didn't just say that. You know? I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, it was funny. Oh, something. Really something. So, yeah. Oh my goodness. They're not allowed. Yeah, exactly. They're not allowed to. Well, they did that time. So anyway, Rob says censored by the History Channel, probably. Yeah, it's funny. But did anybody watch Project Blue Book? I only caught part of that too, but they had Hynek meeting David Spielberg with a Closer Encounters thing. What's ironic about that is the fact that Hynek was in the movie Closer Encounters of the Third Kind or Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So, if you remember when they were at the landing site, when they climbed a mountain and they were, when Dreyfus went to meet up and got into the suit and all that stuff, they were going to put him in line with all them people and that. Well, that's Hynek standing there amongst the crowd when the ship comes down and it first starts talking back and forth with him. Well, that's Mr. Hynek on his pipe, with a little goatee. So, but so that's kind of what they were doing as far as Project Blue Book show. But the truth is, he actually was in the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Now, if that's what they were trying to portray, or because it really got kind of wishy-washy, and I don't really care for the show itself, but I did catch that little bit, but I had to laugh about that. So, yeah. Rob says, I got something to ponder. If history as we know it is to change with the ancient theories that we talk about, would that put History Channel out of a job for pleading the wrong the last 25 years? I don't know. That's a good question. Well, they're not going to listen to us, if you know what I'm saying. So that's funny. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. But that is a good question. I mean, I'm hoping to see, as here, wasn't my last show, but it was the same day. I did 2 shows that day, back a few days ago, where I had Bruce Fenton on, and I want to see Bruce on there. We know he's on there. We know he's done taping for it and stuff, but I have yet to see him. So I'm hoping, that we get to see him this year or whatever before they shut it off again. I think that'd be cool. But Bruce and I talked about that on my last show. That we had the other day. So. Omar says humanity is at least 500 million years old. Yeah. Well, I know it's much older than what the mainstream science tells us. No doubt about that. Yep. Biggest fake news contributor. That's funny. That's funny. Hey, Omar, are you doing another show tonight yourself, or just out of curiosity? I know you did mention something about a show tonight or something. He says Michael Fimo has proved it. Yeah, absolutely. Let's keep the root race in mind. Okay. Cool. Awesome. No show tonight, just watching you. Well, I'll tell you what, and Rob, this goes for you too. If either one of you would like to be on this show tonight, I could actually use somebody. I can invite both of you if you like, but I need somebody to check the other side out for me to tell me if they can share screen and stuff like that, just for the hell of it. We can kind of do a little test tonight while we're live. If somebody would like to volunteer, I can send you an invite. And we can chit chat a little bit and, have a good time, It don't matter what device you're on or anything like that, because it's Omar says, sure, shoot me a link. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to post it right here in the chat room. And you guys, can you grab it from there? Now, when you get that, it'll have you test your mic and your thing out and whatever. Just follow the little thing that it says on it. And then when you enter, I'll know you're here and I'll just put you right on. You're not a problem. Normally you do this before the show and then, you don't have to worry about it, but see if you guys can grab those. Or if anybody else out there would like to join in, by all means, I'm good for up to 6 people. So, we can put a room full in here. I think it'd be fun to have a few people on here. Why not? Something different. Show your pretty faces on my screen. I just turned on YouTube on my TV and I'm texting, watching Facebook on my phone. Oh, that's cool. Awesome.
Am I in? I'm freaking out, looks like.
Yeah, you are just a little bit.
Greening out right now.
Yeah. What's up with that?
It might be my phone. It's not so great.
Let's see here. Yeah, it is flashing.
Trying to oh,
there you go. Yeah.
It stopped.
Yeah, there you go. Cool.
Now I look like the guy from Mac Tonight.
Awesome.
Freaking out right now.
Yeah, it looks like you.
I'm just gonna stay as still as possible.
There you go. Cool. You got it plugged in by chance in the outlet or anything, or?
No, I got my headphones in though. Maybe that's what's doing it.
No, it should be okay. So
maybe it's just got to catch up. Who knows?
Yeah.
Such is life.
And there is Mr. Omar. Hey, check it out.
We got a 3-way right now, huh?
We got a 3-way. Yes, sir.
This is awesome.
Oh, we got the top of his head, though. We got to get him. Got to get his face in there. There he is. Hello, sir.
What's up, man?
Hey, good to see you.
Omar, how are you?
Cool. So, are you on a laptop, Omar?
This is like a menage a trois.
Right?
Why not? Sure is.
It's too funny. Are you on a laptop, Omar?
I'm good, Rob. How are you?
Not bad. Not bad. You have a delay, I guess.
No, I'm sitting in my room.
Oh.
I wasn't expecting to go on, but you got me.
Cool. I like doing that to people.
Surprise factor makes it worthwhile, I guess, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I got like double audio going on here.
Okay. You got your speaker turned off or anything like that, or? Kevin Cummings wants to know, why is everything we've been taught a lie? That's because the powers to be own everything. That's why they want to control us.
That's a really big question.
Yeah,
that's a really big question.
Yeah, go ahead, answer
what was
that,
the question
Rob.
again? Sorry.
He says, why is everything we've been taught a lie? We've talked about this before a few times. We got some pretty good answers.
Clarence, I've got like a reverb happening here.
Oh,
wait, I know what that could be.
You get it?
Just hang on.
Oh, you got YouTube open also? You might be catching feedback from one or the other. You're hearing one feeding back through.
Yeah, all right. I think I got you, dumbass. I think I had Facebook open. I got you going on my phone.
Okay.
YouTube, Facebook, right?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Like and share from all the platforms, and it helps lift the video and the algorithms.
Gotcha.
And it helps defeat the old YouTube thought police, Google thought police, Facebook thought police, right? So, so I try to open up as many tabs as possible.
Keep them from coming down on you. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So this is pretty cool, Clarence. I really like this. What's it called?
StreamYard. Yeah.
StreamYard. Yeah. That's pretty cool stuff. Here, I should.
The only
Is this
thing.
taking place a Spreaker?
What's that?
Yeah, you know, I tried this earlier on before you went live. I thought I'd come and check it out, and I can you can stream from your phone as well.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So
Cool.
I sent myself a link on a messenger, and I opened it up with my phone, and I had my phone camera and this camera here on the same screen. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, wow. So you can use your phone as a webcam.
Yeah, I just I opened it up here from my computer because I heard you say that you wanted to check the share screen
Yes.
kind of deal, right? So I can't. I'm not sure if I can share screen like on the phone,
Right.
right? But I do know that I can share stream here on here. Well, actually, I haven't tried.
Yeah.
But
See, that's the thing about this is, see, now this is the only thing that I don't like about it is because when it comes to sharing the screen, I like to be able to bring in like you all by yourself or Rob all by himself. You know what I'm saying? I like to be able to make them full screen like we could in Zoom, you know?
I think you can, Clarence. Down on the bottom, you see like those icons, right?
Yeah.
You'll have like 4 or 5 icons on the bottom, and one shows a full screen, and the other one shows like this type of format, or 2 screens on one side, one on the other side kind of deal.
Yeah, I was doing that. And the only thing it does, you see, when I click the full screen, it does nothing. The next one over does nothing. That one brings me up. Okay. Same thing in the center. And then this one here brings us back. This one splits us. This will give us all 3 side by side.
I don't like being in the middle.
Yeah. Oreo sandwich. and then this one, I'm all.
I don't blame you, Rob.
Yeah. And that
I
one,
wouldn't
I'm
want to
all
be in the middle of 2 hairy guys either.
It's funny. Get me out of there.
You don't want me in the middle because I seem to be, like I said, like Mac tonight. I guess you can stream from your webcams, but I'm on my phone, so it's like like it's,
Yeah.
it's a little crazy.
Hello,
Every once in a
Mom.
while,
My
you guys
mom's
just
in.
look at me and I'll say, "Grab a Coke, grab a Coke," you know.
Yeah.
So I know, Clarence, earlier on you had mentioned Steve Meads there.
Yes.
And yeah, you're right. We did that show. I think it was like about April or May 2018.
Okay.
Just before our econautical webinar that we did, that 3-day marathon that we had.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
18 speakers, 20 speakers or something over 3 days. And then we had another one where we had 8 speakers one day. Just prior to that. And yeah, it was like 3.5 hours long. And wow, like what an epic presentation, that guy's put together. It's just, it's just sick. He's definitely a world authority when it comes to Chauvet Cave, but not to mention like all the connections that he's made globally in the Middle East and then on Mars as well. It's just phenomenal stuff.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree. And I really appreciate you putting that up as a watch party today. That was awesome. I got to catch half of it anyway. But watching that brings back a lot of memories and that. And I'm rewatching it, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, yeah, man, it still blows my mind. I mean, I'm like, more people got to see this, man. Ain't no doubt about it. They don't know what they're missing.
Yeah.
But
I definitely got to check that out.
yeah, you do.
I haven't seen it, but I just saw the link for it. So as soon as this is over, that's where I'll be.
Swear.
Yeah, Steve Gates was he was my first guest for Watchers Talk in I think like 2016.
Mm-hmm.
2016 I started doing this, so he was my first guest ever.
Cool.
Always had like big respect for the guy and the work that he done. He sent me the book and I read it a couple of times, and I was just blown away by it, especially when you start putting connections together from Mars, right? We got a male lion on Mars and we have a female lion on Earth. So, what's that saying, right? Like we call Mother Earth, she's got a female tiger here or a female lion here. Right. And then Mars, maybe, Father Earth, right? Because Mars is the mini Earth, right?
Right. Well, what's funny about that is about the Sphinx and that, when you talk about it, being the female lion, that Sphinx very well could have been a female lion. You know what I'm saying? Before the pyramids were built. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I think so. For me, I think pyramids are about 8 million years old, and for me, I think the best theory that I've heard so far on pyramids is by John Shaughnessy. He wrote the book Pyramid Gravity Force. Here, just give me a sec.
Cool.
I'll show you.
Here we go, guys. We're going to learn something.
That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah,
I always learn something.
I try to. I really do.
So right here,
Pyramid Gravity Force. Cool.
Here's the book John sent. I got lucky. He autographed it for me. Right, so pretty cool.
Awesome.
This is the other book that I was talking about earlier on, or like in our show when I asked Steve, if he's made any connections on the moon and if he's read the book, There's Something About the Moon. Right. This is a pretty epic book. It's a lot of illustrations in it.
Wow.
But anyways, Pyramid Gravity Force has got to be the most sound theory that I've heard of. The pyramid pump theory by Myers, is it Michael Myers or Steve Myers?
Yeah.
At first I wasn't like really into that, but more I study it and the more I investigate it, the more it makes sense to me, because I've always believed that pyramids are a multi-use machine rather than anything else, right? So like here now on this cover, you see the pyramid right here. Now, what John is saying in this is that what's happening is that we know that the pyramid shaped like that. When you have a pyramid shape, the gravitons are coming down or the energy is coming down. It works as a vortex, and if you're inside that, you can harness that energy from the pyramid. So what he's saying is that gravity, or I guess we call it gravity. Don't want to really make it complex. The gravity is coming down like that, and it's going in through the shafts that are coming in, right? Because you got gravitons that are coming down like that, and then they're sliding down the pyramid, and then they're coming down through the pyramid, and then they almost turns into a beam when they fall into the shafts, right? The east and the west shafts. And then when they come down, they go into the king's esophagus, and then from there, just a direct beam of energy goes directly down to the mantle of the earth, right? To the mantle of the earth. So we have the pyramid. We got the it's kind of weird doing it like this. You got the pyramid, and then you got the which way am I going?
There you go.
So
You'll get it.
You catch what I'm saying, right? So you have this gravity that's coming down, and it goes to the mantle of the earth, and then 180 degrees, it shoots off like that. And then what it's doing is that there's plasma pools underneath. So like the Egyptian pyramids, they're connected to the Hawaiian volcanoes and magma chambers, and the ones in Mexico are connected to another magma chamber in Sri Lanka. And then when you go to Sri Lanka, there's a great big sphinx that's actually there, and there's a great big granite plug over this ancient magma chamber. And what he's saying is that it works as a thermostat. So the gravity pushes that magma down, and then it allows it to come out 180 degrees over somewhere else in the world. So, and thus it releases pressure on the magma in itself. So if you don't have the pyramid working at its full force, then you're going to have to continuously have these eruptions, as we're seeing in Hawaii. And he's made it very, he's shown it very clearly scientifically in his book, that because the Giza pyramids are not working, because they went in, they dynamited it, and they fucking shot it, they blew it up, they dug holes in it, they done all kinds of stuff to it, so it's not working anymore. And because of that, we have all this volcanic activity that's happening in Hawaii, and that constant magma that's leaking in Hawaii is because the gravitational lens is not working properly. Now, his theory really does make sense, because wherever you have pyramids and you look 180 degrees across the world from it, you have magma chambers, so you have active volcanic activity that's going on. So it's a very, very sound theory that he had. So I would suggest anybody that's got a chance to check out Pyramid Gravity Force. It's got if you're into pyramids and stuff, this might really tickle your fancy.
Cool.
I've got I did a show with John there last year, and he explains it really well in there. And another thing you got to keep in mind, Clarence, is that when the herd stream is telling us things, they're leaving things out. Like, for instance, did you know that the chambers or the shafts that are coming into the pyramids, one of them has like a circular top like that, right? You got it flat, and then has a circular a ceiling to it, so you got a shaft coming in that's kind of like that, right? And then the other one on the other side, it doesn't have that round soup on it. It's actually square.
Right.
So you have to ask yourself, why is that? Because we know that our ancestors who created these pyramids and built these pyramids didn't make those types of mistakes, because they were a type 1 civilization. They were a class 1 civilization. They were able to harness the energy of the earth and to be able to use it. So they didn't make mistakes. We can tell, we look at Puma Punku, for instance.
Right.
We go down to Machu Picchu or Ollantaytambo, or even Stonehenge or Giza, wherever we go, wherever these megalithic sites are, Mexico even, these people didn't make any mistakes. So you have to ask yourself, why are those two shafts comparatively different from one another? There has to be some sort of a purpose to that. And then we have this herd stream media that we're exposed to. They're not giving us details such as that. I bet not too many people knew that two shafts are, constructed differently.
Right. No, probably not. Yeah. You're right.
I didn't know that. I, for one, did not know that.
Wow. Pretty cool.
So we have to ask ourselves, why is that? Right? The pyramids, like we talked about in with Steve Meads earlier today, it's a class 1 civilization about 8 million years ago built the pyramids. And about 8 million years ago, we know that the Mediterranean Sea and the Dead Seas came to life. Right? They were essentially created at that time.
Sure.
The Mediterranean, if we look at it, if we empty it out, it would be something like the Grand Canyon. right? It's just a great big canyon, and it's got cities in it, it's got villages in it, it's got farms in it. There's obviously somebody lived at the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea, and it just got filled up. And the question is how and why. And I've suggested a couple of times that perhaps the civilization that built this raised the land out of where the Mediterranean Sea is today, right?
Right.
Because of water, we know that water and pyramids kind of go hand in hand, right? So maybe they needed that amount of water nearby to the pyramids in order for the pyramids to work as functionally as possibly as they can. I don't know, man.
Cool.
Just a brain fart trying to throw it out there, right? But this brain farting has been farting for a while too, though. Now
It's a good 30-second fart on that one, right?
That's funny.
Took a while to come.
That's funny. Chris Wagner had a question here. Let's throw this up here. Any thoughts on erosion patterns on the Sphinx and a new theory about the age of the Sphinx? Actually, yes. I'm gonna step in here just for a second and say something about this. Now, for years and years, well, I can't say for years and years, but for a number of years now, they claimed that there is water erosion around it, and it was full of salt water or whatever because of the seashells and stuff like that. And they claimed a lot of it is from rain. Now, I will admit, definitely there's water erosion, but I think they're looking at it a totally wrong way. I think the Sphinx was like in the middle of a lake at one time, because if you look at how that water erodes, it's almost like it comes down and then you got a shelf, and it comes down and you got another shelf, which means that water had been there sloshing in that one area for who knows how many years before it finally dissipated, and did that all the way down until it finally evaporated and was totally gone. So each one of those rings, which are 2-3 feet, in width, is so many years, if you know what I'm saying. And I think there's probably like 4 or 5 of those rings that go all the way around that whole structure. So that's my deal on that. I don't think that's just rainwater coming down and causing that. I think that was actually a pool of water that thing was sitting in, which means that it would have had to have been built before it got flooded. And then it got flooded, and the water, was there for thousands of years. And then the wind came in and blew the sand in. So that thing is ancient. I mean, it's like, I can't even imagine how old that thing would be, to cause all that.
I can...
But that's my theory on that. Now, I may be totally wrong, but that's what I'm thinking.
I can appreciate your thought on that, and it kind of makes sense. So how about this one? I got one. How about the Sphinx is comparatively or relatively about 8 million years old, between 5 to 8 million years old. Now, the reason why I say that is because about 5 to 8 million years ago, the jet stream, which is over Congo today, used to be in North Africa, where Egypt and Jordan and all that area is. So because it was at that height, at that latitude, at that time, the precipitation and the rainfall would have been as average as it is today in Congo. That entire area was green, and Congo was a desert.
Sure.
Right, because now Central Africa is green, as we can see it on the map. Central Africa is green. The north is a desert. So about 5 to 8 million years ago, when that jet stream went south, because the jet stream would go like that. Right. It goes like that. It kind of moves like that. So when it drops south like that, it brought drought to North Africa. Now we know that that the desert around the Egyptian peninsula is used to be underwater. There's actually a huge freshwater reservoir underneath the desert of North Africa. Now, because that jet stream was where North Africa and especially where Egypt is today, because the rainfall for a course of those millions of years is what's eroded or caused these erosion lines on the Sphinx. And then when the jet stream when it moved south to where Congo is today, of course, it dried out the area, and all that sand that was there blew in, covered up the Sphinx for millions of years until the late 18th, 19th century, when they rediscovered the Sphinx, dug it up, not really all that long ago, and discovered that it had all these water erosions on it, and they can't explain why. For me, that kind of makes sense. Because when we look at the pyramid stone walls, right, not the granite, but the outside, the facade of it, has fossils in it. It's got shells, sea life, seashells, and it clearly is on there. So they quarried this, this rock, which was probably an attempt to repair the older pyramid.
It could
know what I'm saying? I think the facade of it, at one time, was probably covered up. Underneath it, you got massive granite stones, right? And then you got, soapstone on the outside. So it's just like all other things that we find in Egypt and in South America, where we have these megalithic rocks and these megalithic stones, and then next to it, we got these small little piles and rubbles in an attempt to, fix or try to fix whatever damage that was there or whatever they were trying to achieve. We see it in South America. We see it in Egypt. It's very clear in Egypt. You got like a 10-ton rock, and next to it, you got like perfectly cut out little bricks. And these archaeologists want to tell us that it's because they wanted to build really fast and be efficient, which really doesn't make any sense. Because if you have the type of knowledge where you can cut granite and manipulate granite and that weight, do with it what you want, then to go to smaller stones just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So that's kind of what I think where the damage to the Sphinx came from. Anyways, it's because of the jet stream, because of its latitude. It was up top, it dropped, brought drought, buried it, and that's it.
Yeah, I would almost have to agree with that. Absolutely, makes sense. Absolutely. Yep.
And there's scientific evidence of this.
Agree with that. Definitely agree with that. Only because they always talk about the the prime time of Egypt has always been lush. It's always had
green grass,
fertile valleys. And
yes, absolutely.
An advanced civilization of that type would have to have some kind if you look at the Indus Valley, they had the Tigris River. Things like that. You need that source of water to further a civilization. You're not going to settle your people away from things of that nature because it wouldn't make any sense. You'd be trekking how many days just to get fresh water to what you need and to plant crops and things like that.
Right.
It makes a lot of sense.
Well, we know that the Nile.
Excuse me for 1 sec. I just got to find some papers here, man. So just give me a sec.
Well, we know that the Nile River was definitely a lot bigger and wider than what it is today. There ain't no doubt about that. That got closed in a lot and cut off. It got moved basically, in different areas. So that's definitely made a big change over the years too. So
and with what he's talking about, if there was such rainfall, the Nile would have overflowed like it does once a season now. But if it would have happened on a consistent basis, what would have happened was these people that's how far is the pyramids from the Nile River? Not
very far. Well,
flooded right up to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, it used to butt right up to them. Yeah, yep.
And the Sinai Peninsula is right there. So if the Mediterranean wasn't actually a body of water at that point, well, maybe it was just a river as opposed to a whole body of fresh water.
Right.
It's a sea, not an ocean.
Right.
So
right. Yep.
That could have.
Sea. Yeah.
That's where maybe a lot of that water table came from. Was right over there, right in that specific region closer to Egypt.
Yeah, that makes sense. It really does. Cool. But yeah, as far as the water thing though, with the Sphinx and that, I hear that all the time about it being rainfall, and you take a good look at that. That was a lake. That's not just rain. Them walls are carved out. You know what I'm saying? They're
right.
That's not rain. Rain would leave elongated erosion. It wouldn't
rain would have eroded the entire side of it. Rain comes from a side, up or down. It would have been consistent pattern all the way throughout the entire Sphinx.
Exactly.
And it's not.
Yeah. No.
It's just not.
No. That definitely was a lake, no doubt about it. And why? And that's the thing. Why don't they see that? Why don't they say that? You know what I mean?
They
It's
don't. They
obvious
don't
by
want you to know
looking at
that
it.
because what would that tell? That would tell you that certain things that they're looking at, let's say for the positioning of Atlantis when oceans were different, it's going to make you question more than a
Yeah.
definitive answer. So they're going to tell you what they think the definitive answer is. Also, they don't believe the same way we do. They
No.
believe in a history that's very cut and dry, very patternistic. If things change, then they have no explanation for a lot of things.
Well, that
So,
goes beyond their 12,000 year limit. See, that's what,
right, that too. Well, that
you
too.
know, yeah, it does.
That's what I mean. The History Channel has been the biggest peddler of misinformation for the last 25 years.
Yeah, that would go beyond their 12,000 year limit. You can't do that.
Can't do that. It's too far back. It's too far back. Listen,
Yeah.
we're gonna stay in. We're gonna stay in this 12,000 region. If you go back 2 million, we can't put you on TV. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, that was crazy.
You know what show I've also liked that's opposite Ancient Aliens is that William Shatner with the Unexplained with William Shatner. I really
he's got
like
a new one. Yeah.
I like the take that they're doing on that. The fact that they're looking at different things and not pinpointing a specific thing. They're very general about it.
Right.
So you can kind of make your own assumption, I guess you could say, on it. But
right.
I do like that show a lot. It's a really good show. I would tell you to check it out. My girlfriend is not about any of that stuff. She doesn't do Ancient Aliens. She doesn't even do. She's very like a holy roller. The Catholic Church, it's her home. Like that's it. Yeah. And she hates the fact that I'm not 100% behind her like that. But she watched the one that was on Afterlife, and she was like, "Well, don't they just go to heaven?" And I'm like, "Well, people think different things. There's different religions." Yeah. But she actually got really into it because of the way he was explaining it and letting her do her own thing. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
Stephen David said they mentioned 50,000 years last night. LOL, I was shocked. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, guys. I just
go ahead.
had myself an emergency here.
Yeah.
I lost track of my papers, and you know what we do with these things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. roll your own. Yeah.
It's just tobacco. That's all.
Is that tobacco that grows down in the basement, or is that
it's Mom's tobacco?
The stuff out back on the bush.
Mama's tobacco, brothers. Mama's tobacco.
Too funny.
Yeah, you know, I stopped watching Ancient Aliens, not because I deliberately stopped watching Ancient Aliens.
Well,
but I just kind of.
I mean, I like the program. Don't get me wrong.
Seasons.
I mean, I like the program. I like what it stood for. And I like what they did when they first started out with it and that. But, it got to the point where it was like, oh, my gosh, I can't agree with everything they say anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's just too boxy,
Yeah, it got very, very Hollywood. Got very Hollywood.
That too.
And they were just regurgitating the same information just from different speakers again and again and again and again.
Right.
And I just found that, it's just became just a waste of my time. And not to mention, they stole a couple of things from me, right? And never really fully credited me. So that kind of left a sour taste in my mouth for them. And but even after they stole my stuff, I gave them the benefit of the doubt and really didn't care and continued to watch the show. But then they stole from me once again and gave me no credit. So that left me even more sour. And the third time they stole from me, I just had enough. I was like, okay, enough's enough. And I just kind of stopped watching them. Before I download their shows and watch it, because I don't really like watching it on TV.
Yeah.
Right. Then TV gets ratings and things like that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I popped off video because it's for some reason.
That's okay. Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm green screening like crazy, but
yeah, it looks like you were. What's that called? Disco jamming?
Yeah, pretty much. Disco biscuit. Disco biscuit. No, I totally agree with that. They were regurgitating the same thing from different thinkers, and the crazy part is that they were not actually bringing something new to the table. It was
Yeah.
literally different people saying almost the same thing, maybe
Right.
tweaking it just a touch.
Right.
But you know, when I look at something, I want to know every different side of it. Like I want to
Aspect,
see
yeah.
every side
Give
because
us-
you know what? I'm gonna make my own decision.
Well,
But
you know,
whether
well, I was just
Go
going to
ahead.
say, you know, that's the thing. There's more than one answer to damn near everything. You know what I mean? Not everything is going to be so cut and dry, you know, and that's why you got to think outside of the box, and you got to, you know, you definitely got to put your own spin on it, because, you know, what else can you do? You know, if you only stay to one side of the deal, that's all you're ever going to be, you know,
That's
Well,
right.
and
if you-
that's not cool, you know.
if you're regurgitating the same thing that you heard and not expanding on it, what you're not doing anything for yourself.
Exactly.
You're not thinking on your own. What you're doing is you're basically taking somebody else's idea and pretty much trying to
Exactly.
take credit for it,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah, and
not
that's what
something
they did to
I'm
me.
with.
That's
all
what they
these
did to me
people-
3 times.
You know, and it's like our show now that we're doing right now. Okay. All these people we have watching us, and they're in the chat rooms and stuff, they're interacting with us. You know, they got great comments, they got great ideas themselves, you know. And these are
Man,
the, you
there's
know,
scholars in the
absolutely.
comments. They're every single one of them are scholars, and they're well studied.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
a fact.
You know,
But the best part about that is that you're going to get a question that's from left field in a sense, like it's a curveball. You're not sitting there with a planned show saying, "Okay, we're going to
No.
talk about this topic. We're going to talk about that topic." It
Right.
keeps you on your
Starts
toes.
out like that.
absolutely.
And the fact that we can keep up with these people who are talking to us and we're giving them some kind of not knowledge, but what we feel back
Right.
is the best part of human interaction.
Right.
For me, you know,
Right.
I love ideas. I love listening to people and what they have to say. Do I agree with everything? No.
Well,
But I'm gonna
neither do
listen
I,
to you.
but hey, you know, and I could be wrong about most everything. Who knows? You know,
And that's what makes debates beautiful. Is
Absolutely.
because when two
Right.
parties don't agree with one another and bringing the same thought process to the table, but just uniquely different, is to me what makes a debate just that much more special. Right? One
Absolutely.
doesn't have to agree with someone, but at the end of the day, once you walk away from the table, you're far more educated than you first began.
you always,
And then you can apply that
Yeah.
knowledge that you just learned to your own theories
absolutely.
and try to plug some holes in there.
Absolutely. You
Absolutely.
always come away with something, no matter what.
Yeah.
You always come away with something. Yep.
And that sounds crazy, but that's basically what I'm going to base my show off of. Is not whether the theory's wrong, right, or indifferent. It's how you got there.
It's
Why
a theory.
do you feel so strongly about what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Why do you
Yeah.
feel that way?
Absolutely.
You know, and that's
What
that's
evidence
the
do you
greatest part.
Right, evidence has a lot to do with it, right? Like, what evidence do you have? You got to have like some sort of scientific backing, even though we know that science lies a lot.
Right.
But we can we can disseminate what's lies in science and what's not, right? They always tell us 50% truth, right? So we just got to be able to find the 50% truth in their science and try to back your own theories with that.
Absolutely.
That's a fact.
I got to do this again, guys. This is hang on just a second here.
And Rob, you were saying about like the left field questions, right? The other side to that is that you get some left field answers too.
It's a fact. That's a fact. And that's the
Yeah,
best
man, you
part.
get answers that you weren't expecting.
That's the best part. And then you know what? It's always that profound moment when you hear one of those two, and you're like, "Wait a minute, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
That kind of makes sense."
Sorry about that. I gotta play that again. I love this part. This is so funny.
Remain calm. All is well. Remain.
Kevin Bacon, that guy's great.
He is funny.
Almost every Hollywood actor has worked with Kevin Bacon over the course of his career.
6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. There's a whole drinking game based on
Yeah,
that.
I think
Yeah.
you probably saw the same show as I did. Yeah, almost every actor has something to do with Kevin Bacon.
Or they were in a movie with somebody who was in a movie with Kevin Bacon.
With Kevin
Yeah.
Bacon.
6 degrees. Everything can go back to Kevin Bacon and Footloose. I'm here to dance.
So, Clarence, what do you think about the conviction of Harvey Weinstein?
Oh man, I tell you, I am getting really sick of all this, Omar. I'll be honest with you. This whole thing is just totally nuts. You know, I don't know.
I think that guy's going away for a while because he got convicted in New York.
Oh yeah.
Now he's headed to California, and the same thing's going to happen to him there.
Yeah.
And he's going to end up in prison for a very, very long time. Now, the question to bear to ask is, what type of prison is he going to end up in, right? Because we know that there's different prisons for different, classes in America. If you're poor, you go to a general prison, and if you're rich like Martha Stewart, you get to go to a, like Camp David or something, right?
They'll send him to a federal prison. He's going to go to a federal prison where it's all cushy, and he's going to have his own cell where nobody can fuck with him. Oh, sorry my mouth.
Well, you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's a hard issue for me because, there's a lot that goes along with it, and the fact that he is completely a scumbag. He used his power to.
He screwed so many people up
to do something.
Yeah,
and If I was given a choice like he posed to these people, I would have walked right out. But some people don't feel that way. I feel that he's facing 5 to 25 years in New York. Guaranteed he gets 4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Probably like 5 years.
Yeah.
Which is he should go away forever. He should go away forever. He should never see the light of day again. He's a complete piece of garbage.
Make an example out of this guy.
Well, and that's another thing. It just, I don't know. I mean, these people, all of a sudden, it seems like in the past couple of years, all of this stuff now, all of a sudden, has been coming out. People getting nabbed, people going to prison, people, I mean, how many trials now they've had, including impeachment, it's just non-stop over and over and over again. Holy shit. You know what I mean?
That's because information is readily available at your fingertips. You can find 7 to 8 people who have been through the same exact thing that you've been through, and now you're a coalition against somebody.
Right.
So that's a positive but a negative.
Yeah.
Depending on the issue.
Yeah. Well, he's messed up, that guy, anyway. I mean, that's, let's face facts here. He wasn't born right in the head, as far as I'm concerned. He definitely deserves what he's getting. What's that?
I'll give you a revelation.
My girl says hi. Amy says hi.
Oh, hello, Amy.
Let me give you a revelation. 90% of Hollywood is filled with scumbags, pedophiles, and crazy people.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you're giving that credit there. 90. I would say like 99.9.
I was trying to be a little bit biased, but I was trying.
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy stuff.
Oh, sorry, guys. That's me.
Marco, he says he thinks Nancy Pelosi is sexy.
Marco, you can have that.
I think there's something wrong with this guy. What's that?
You can have that, Marco.
That's too
You ever
funny.
see that video where Nancy Pelosi's eye was turning into a reptilian?
Yes.
Oh,
that was funny.
That was some pretty sick shit. She's an Archon, bro.
Oh my god!
Oh man,
too funny.
Nancy Pelosi sexy. That was probably the best thing I heard all night long. That was amazing.
No kidding.
That was amazing. If you take anything away from this podcast, it's Nancy Pelosi sexy.
Nancy
Pelosi's sexy.
it's too funny. Oh my goodness.
Oh jeez.
See, this kind of crew we got. It's funny. I love my people. I really do. I think they're cool. We get some good ones.
Or do you get some crazy ones?
Well, hey, what the hell? We're all crazy one way or the other.
That's a fact. I was speaking for myself more than anybody else.
Join the crowd, Yeah. We wouldn't be doing this if we weren't nuts in the head,
It's true.
So they tell us. Yeah.
It's just a perceptional thing. Right? Crazy. If you're born in a nut house, to you, that's normal.
Yeah.
Right? And you come into the nut house and you're like, wow, this shit's crazy.
Wow, this really is crazy.
Yeah. Oh, gotta have fun though. That's what life's all about.
I really
So let
love
me,
this round table with 3 people. This is fun. This is like,
It is fun. Yeah,
this is pretty cool.
absolutely.
let me share my screen here with you, Clarence, to make
Can
sure
you do that? That's why I wanted
Yeah,
to
I'm gonna
find
give
out
it a
if you
try.
can do that. Yeah, can you actually do that?
I gotta get a set up like Omar. Holy cow, he's got like everything over there, bro. You got screens, you and Clarence. I gotta get on top of this. I gotta get on top of this thing. I gotta get a good webcam, a decent microphone. I still have a ways to go, but I'm gonna try and bring as much knowledge as I can in the meantime. I'm gonna do a little bit of live content on my on Full Spectrum Universe, just so people see my face and get used to me
Yeah,
a little
absolutely.
bit. You know.
Can you see that,
But-
Clarence?
Yeah. Let me see if I can bring this up. There we go. Look at that. Cool.
The false perception.
Hey, you can do it. So you can share screen. That's cool.
Cool. You're able to see that?
Yeah.
Right on, man. So this is the presentation that I've been working on for about the last year about Saturn and its effects. I'm pretty sure we talked about this a number of times.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, there it is. I see it now. Right, so this is the presentation that I've been working on. Not really going to get into it, but I'll just give you a just a quick view.
Quick freebie, huh? Cool.
If it's free, it's for me.
That's right. Oh, that's awesome. I like that. That was cool. So when's this going to be done, Omar? When are you going to get it out here?
I'm thinking, I've been saying a couple of weeks for the last few months now, right? So,
Right.
you know, I can't really give a date on this because it's continuously evolving.
Sure.
And I want to try to, you know, give the best information that I possibly can.
Wow.
So
good.
Now, for the
you know,
people at home, you want to give them a quick synopsis of what exactly they're looking at, besides
Sure.
the false perception?
Sure, but here, I'll start from the beginning here. Let me go right
Because I
down.
think it looks super interesting. I would love to know what's going on. You know.
All right, so Saturn is the, you know, Saturn is alive, right? Just as it has consciousness, just as any other planet does. So now what I've theorized is that about 12,000 years ago, our moon was brought into orbit, of our Earth orbit, and it's actually a transmitter of frequency. So this group that came into our solar system, known as the Archon or the reptilians, which phase in and out of our reality because they're able to change their perceptional and visual frequencies so that they can appear and disappear, and they can be in the same room as us and not. And what they're doing is that they're feeding off of our negative energies. So back in the day, we know that you know, this here is the accepted symbol of the sun. So now the question really becomes is whether they're talking about the sun that we know of today, or are they talking about the Saturn sun? Now, the Saturn sun in occult, Saturn is the dark sun, the dark lord, the lord of the rings. So the archonic force that moved into our solar system, they realized that because we're coming out of this devastating ice age, which we've been under grip for, you know, the past 1.82 million years, and we were living underground, but we began emerging out of the caverns from inner Earth. They realized that we're not equipped with the knowledge that we once were, and we became quite vulnerable. So what these guys did is that they created this false perceptional reality to us. You know, most will call it a matrix, but it's very real. But it's the perception that which these guys have created. Like we hear about the Watchers, right? We have the 50 Watchers that descended. Samyaza was their leader, and they helped build civilization, brought knowledge to us, and yada, yada, yada. But all that knowledge and all that civilization that they built was created in order to keep us in a low vibratory scale. So other words, our frequency is very dense, and it's that frequency and that energy that we're emitting is what they're feeding off of. Now, what I theorize is that what these people did is that when we started emerging from the cavern underground, is that they began abducting our women. And once they abducted our women, they began genetically changing their eggs. So that when they gave birth, the reptilian part of our brain, which at that time, about 12,000 years ago, was very small compared to what it is today. So what this archonic force did, and through these abductions, is that they enhanced or they grew our reptilian brain so that we're in that continuous perpetual state of fear, of flight or fight, hoarding, like we have with money, for instance, today. And war, murder, as we've had over the course of the previous, 12 millennia, 13 millennia. So anyways, this force, they're rearing us as chickens, like we do chickens, right? So as long as they keep us in this low vibratory scale, they can continue to feed off of us. So the entire structure that's created, like the banking structure, the political structure, the sporting structure, the educational structure, it's all structured in a way to keep us in a low vibratory scale. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
The symbols, they've evolved, right? Like, for instance, we see a lot of crescents, for instance, like this, right? So we see this crescent, the north, you'll see that in a lot of logos, right? Corporate logos, like this crescent here. This crescent here. This is actually one of the primary symbols of Saturn. We have this symbol right here. Here we have this old sun. And then it has the crescent. This is also the Egyptian boat, or this is also the Freemason boat. We see that being used lots. Here's another symbol that we're see being used a lot. Does this look familiar, this symbol?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
This right here is a symbol to make your window big or small. And this is another one of common occurring themes of symbolically in Saturn. Now, number of symbols, like for instance this one. Remember this one, you'll see this later on. Here's another one, you'll see that one as well. Now from this crescent, right, from that crescent came the horns, the horned gods, like we have Pan the goat god, or we have Lucifer, right? We have Egyptian gods with horns, we have Baphomet with horns, right? So from this symbol right here, from this crescent came the horned gods, and also that evolved. Here we have the Eye of Zoran in the Lord of the Rings. Here we have the horns, and then we have the all-seeing eye. Remember this eye can see everything. Right here we have in Islam, we have the crescent, and then we have the star. The star is Saturn, because in antiquity, where is it?
I noticed that looked like the symbol of Islam too. I was going to say it, but I was letting you go.
Yep.
I have a left field question if you're ready for it.
Yeah,
go ahead.
All right. You said that they were prepping our brains, right? Do you feel that older people before the 12,000 year mark were using more of their brain capacity, and that's why now they only have 8 to 12% that is actually being used for modern humans? They say we only use 8 to 12% of our brain, our function at any one time. Do you feel that maybe that's part of that inhibiting of our brain to be in the matrix, like they're taking over, the other 88% of our brain, or the other 92% of our brain, to fill in their full agenda?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I agree. What these guys have done is that, if you recall the story of the Tower of Babel. Now, the Tower of Babel, in it, they spoke of the world, everyone in the world speaking the same language. Now, they're not talking about everyone speaking like the same audible language as like we're speaking right now. What they're talking about is the universal language of telepathy. So with the Tower of Babel, what that was representing was our ability to telecommunicate with one another, to telepathically communicate with one another anywhere on this planet. So when the tower was severed, essentially what they're saying is that the part of our brain that was in control or in charge of that telepathic ability was severed, and then thus we came down to speaking the regional dialect, the physical dialect, rather than the telepathic side of our brain. Now, as I said earlier, when these guys came and they began genetically modifying our women's eggs, what they began doing was began growing that reptilian part of our brain. Now, in order for that part of the brain to grow, you have to take away some other parts of the brain, because you just can't have the brain squished, right? Or otherwise people are going to die. It's not going to work. So you have to remove certain parts of the brain in order for the other gland to have room to grow. So this when they tell us that we only use 90% of our brain, is again part of the false perception that we're involved with, because to us, a placebo is very powerful. Thought is very powerful. So when somebody tells you that you only use 10% of your brain and that you evolved from a monkey, after a while, you're going to start believing that. And then once you believe that you only use 10% of your brain, then you're only going to use 10% of your brain. But if you tell people that you can use 90% of your brain, or you can use 100% of their brain, then they'll begin to use and utilize that 90 to 100% of their brain. Right. So it's a tricky question.
It's like chaining the elephant. When you chain him up when he's little, he doesn't know that he grows big enough he could pull it.
Yeah, it's like that image of a horse being tied to a lawn chair. Right. The horse is far more powerful than that lawn chair, and it can run away anytime it wants. But because it thinks that this is tying him down, the horse just remains still. Right. And the same thing goes with the use of our brain. If somebody tells you that you're retarded and that you're stupid, and you're being told that constantly over and over and over again, after a while, you're going to begin doing stupid things and retarded things. It's not that you're stupid or you're retarded. You're just going to begin to exhibit that behavior.
Because that's what you're taught.
So the same thing goes with the use of our brain. If you're told that, hey, you're a monkey that only uses 10% of your brain and that you're a slave, then you're going to behave and carry yourself in that manner.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hey, Julie, Vita, don't worry. I'm going to catch these here in just a moment. So
here I covered the Bohemian Grove in this upcoming webinar. Here's that. Remember, I was saying keep an eye out for that symbol.
Oh wow!
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. In the Special Air Forces or Special Command.
Well, that even looks like that even looks like the corporate Texaco star from the gas station.
It is. Right here in the seal of the United States, inside the star, we have a 6-pointed star.
Yep. Wow.
Right here, we have the horns. Right? Remember I was showing you earlier, the crescent turned into a horn. Here's their Buckingham Palace, the Windsor royal family. This is their house logo. Right here, here's the UN.
Yeah,
and how appropriate the UN has a target on the Earth.
You know what? Not to bring this up, but that same logo, the UN logo you just showed, the flat earthers also use that as their logo.
Yeah,
that's the truth. That is the truth. I didn't mean to bring that up, but it just struck me funny.
Right, and then that horn, that crescent, and that horn eventually evolved into wings. And here we have the seal of Rome with the eagle with the wings.
With the wings, yeah.
And then we have the Rosicrucian Order using the wings. We have Harley Davidson using the wings. We have Bentley. We have Chrysler. Here we have the Maltese Cross. Again, this Maltese Cross is an expression of Saturn, because back in the day when you looked at Saturn gave off 4 distinct lights. it looked like a sparkling star in the night sky and the day sky. Right here again, we have the Celtic cross with the symbol of the sun in the background.
Wow.
Here we have the Pope wearing the Maltese cross underneath an upside down cross. Now you have to remember the cross is geometrically a cube, so it's actually a worship of the cube. Here we have again at the Vatican, we have this little thingy that these guys walk around with a Maltese cross inside. Here we have the crown jewels of England. We have the 3 different crowns, but with the same symbology.
Wow.
This is what Saturn actually appeared as when you looked at Saturn. And this is where the term the 4 corners or the 4 rivers of the world or the 4 corners of the world originates from, is from Saturn. And keep this image in mind, because here we have it again in Times Square, or not
look
Times
at that.
Square, but in St. Peter's Square. Here we have the Pope carrying the same thing, which represents Saturn. Here we have the symbol of the devil.
Makes me wonder if there was ever an advanced civilization on Saturn watching us the whole time.
I wouldn't doubt
The
that.
whole time.
Saturn does have a civilization on it, but it's not like on the planet, but it's actually in the moons, the artificial moons that it has, like Mimas and Iapetus. Those are artificial moons. And what I've theorized is when this archonic force, when they moved into our solar system, the ring system of Saturn was somewhat there, but not really. And what they've done is that they've enhanced it by using crystals or crystalline ice of some sort to harness the frequency of Saturn. And then that frequency is then transmitted to these moons, to Iapetus and to Mimas. And then from that frequency is shot as a laser towards our moon. Our moon picks up that transmission from Saturn and then retransmits it towards the Earth. And now there's a black knight satellite that most people may have heard of that orbits in the north to south polar orbit. Now, what I've suggested is that the black knight satellite is picking up this frequency and is emitting this frequency in a wide, broad band to the Earth, so that it's covering the entire Earth, and that everybody on the Earth is affected by this frequency, which lowers our vibratory scale and also alters our perceptual thinking. Now, a few years back, there was an experiment done on mice where scientists took perfectly healthy mice. They stuck them in their maze, and they stuck cheese at the end, and they allowed them to run around and look for their cheese. And these mice were able to navigate their way through the maze and find the cheese and eat it. And then what happened is that they began emitting this certain frequency, which they wouldn't mention what type of frequency it was or what gigahertz this frequency was at. And when they emitted this frequency and these mice was exposed to this frequency, these mice became extremely agitated, and they became very violent. And instead of sharing their food, they began hoarding their food. They started climbing over the walls, and they were just in a state of delirium. And when this frequency was lifted off of them, they went back to being normal. So what I've suggested is the same thing is happening from this frequency that's being harnessed from Saturn and is being transmitted to Earth, is causing this type of same behavior in us.
Wow.
That's, you could you could see the change in society as well. Like,
sorry, what was that?
You could see the change in society over the last 10 years too, if they've amped the frequency up, because there's so much more violent nature.
Oh, yeah.
The last 15, 20 years.
Sure.
You know, with school shootings and people just really just being vile and terrible.
Just nasty. Yeah. Absolutely.
So here we have, this is another symbol, circle with the horns, right? This is where the symbol of the devil came from, you know, when people do the devil symbol with their hands. So here we have some very prominent members of our society displaying that symbol. That symbol, they're displaying it proudly because that's what they're into. Here we have Eminem, Barack Obama, Jamie Foxx. I forgot this guy's name. He's president of France, I believe. Here we got Donald Trump. Here we have John Kerry hanging out with the founder of the Church of Satan, I believe, in San Francisco. We got Old Dragon. Now the whole family's involved in this one. We got George Bush, then we got Laura Bush, then we got their daughter, right? So it's a family religion. Here we have the former president of Russia displaying his symbol right here.
Yeah, but he's doing the Mason symbol also at the same time. What is up with that?
Yeah.
Go back to that picture. Look at that.
Most of them are Masons.
He's doing Mason and the symbol. See, he's got his thumb tucked inside of his coat there.
Yeah, man. This is Freemasonic is in the worship of Bahamutep or Satan.
Ain't that something?
It's very, very interestingly connected. Here we have Spider-Man giving us the devil symbol when he shoots his webs.
Huh.
Here we have, again, some very prominent members of our society that are doing the symbol. Here we have a Beatles album with John Lennon. Here we got Drake wearing an owl. Owl is represented as Moloch at the Bohemian Grove. Right. Again, here's Bahamutep dress.
Wow.
And here. Now, this isn't obvious.
Actually put him on his head, huh? Wow.
I'll just move a bit forward. Here's another one. I believe this is Lady Gaga.
Oh, wow.
Astrologically, Saturn is represented as a goat.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we have Bahamutep that's represented as a goat.
Wow.
Here we have the two towers. The two towers. This is what it's evolved to from right here. Remember, I was showing you the crescent, and from crescent it turned into a horn, and from the horns it turned into the wings, and then from the wings it turned into the two towers. We find these two towers in the White House, in the Congress, and also we find it in Masonic temples. Here we have it. Right, Masonic temples. Here we have, I believe, the father of the United States with the Masonic symbol.
George Washington. He was a Mason.
Towers, right. We have the Grand Mason. We have the star up top. Again, here's the this image and this image. They both are in the house, the Freemasons Lodge in London. Here we have the crescent. Remember the crescent?
Yeah.
This is in Toronto. We have checkered floors. This checkered floors actually becomes very crucial here in a little bit. And we got the two towers, which evolved from the crescent. Again, here's a couple more examples of the two towers. Like, look right here. We have the checkered floor. We have the two towers. We have the all-seeing eye. We have the sun. We have the crescent, and we have the star right here. Again, right here, we have the two towers. Now, the symbol infinite, numerology, in numerology, Saturn, digitally is number 8. And it's from number 8 that we get the symbol of infinity. So infinity symbol is a representation of Saturn. And also the spider. Now we have a Nazca spider, and the spider is also a representation of Saturn. Here we have the horns, and then we have the god right here in the middle being held, being held up, as we see in a lot of Egyptian images, like Isis, for instance. Let me find something up here. I might be able to find some Egyptian, or it might be later on. Yeah, I think it's a bit later on. But anyways, the spider at Nazca is a representation of Saturn. Here we have the magic cube of Saturn. It's also known as the magic cube of Freemason. It doesn't matter whether you count like this, or you count like that, or you count like this. You'll always get the number 15. And numerology, you never have double numbers. You always add those numbers and come with the single digit. So it's always 666, 666.
Wow.
Here we have the, remember earlier on, you were seeing George Washington with the Mason symbol.
Yeah.
Right. Here we have the magic cube. And this is what the magic cube is. Right. You have the connection with the Freemasons, right? Like right here, you have the compass and the angle,
square, yeah.
right? And then
Compass
here you
square.
have the symbol right here,
Hmm.
right? Either way you count, you get 666, 666. Here's the symbol of Grand Masons, right?
Hmm.
Right here. The magic square, it doesn't matter how you count it. Like I said, either way, numerologically, you have number 15. Whether you count it like this, you count it like that, you count up, you count this way, it doesn't matter. You always come up with the number 15, which equals 666.
Huh.
Right? And then from that, here's the checkered floor. Remember I was telling you, the checkered floor? Checkered floor is about deception, enlightenment, and unenlightenment. Right? So that's why when you see in cathedrals, like we have a cathedral here. Here, let me play that for you. In cathedrals, you'll always find that you have checkered floors.
Wow.
Again, checkered floors.
Hmm.
Now, the Rothschilds, they were known as the Bauer family. They're from Germany. And Rothschild actually means red shield. In German, it means red shield. It's because they're known as red shield because they used to have a red shield outside of their house. So they changed their name from Bauer to Rothschild, and from red shield to Rothschild. It's the same thing. And we have a 6-pointed star, and then we have the symbol of the sun here in the middle.
Wow.
This family is worth $500 trillion. These are the very same people that created the state of Israel. It's here we have the symbol of the Rothschilds with their star, and we have the pentagram in the Israeli flag. The Los Angeles police, or the sheriff's badge, always is a 6-pointed star, because law, political, education, astrologically, all of that is ruled by Saturn.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Here we have the city of Rome as we know it today, but back in the day, Rome was known as Saturnalia, and that's where we get the Christmas Saturnalia holiday, where they gave gifts and had Christmas trees and kind of what have you. As a Christmas tree, Christmas that we celebrate today was the same in the pagan holiday of Saturnalia, which originated from the city of Saturnalia, the city of Saturn, Rome, which was observing Saturn. Here we have next to amount of what is that called? Temple of Saturn. Right next to it, we have what's known as Capitoline Hill, which is Capitol Hill. When these secret societies moved into the United States, they brought this information with them. So when they created Washington, they named Capitol Hill after Capitoline Hill. His next Saturnus, Mount Saturnus, is the Mound of the Dead, which is the hill of Saturn.
Huh.
Here we have some Saturn symbology in the Washington District of Criminals in Washington. We have
we got that. Yeah.
we have the 6-sided star right here. We have notice the symbol right here. It looks like a star, but notice this symbol. Just keep that symbol in mind. It's going to become quite obvious here pretty quick. See, again, here it is, this symbol, right? Here we have that, remember the symbol of Satan I was showing you with the 2 horns?
Yeah, a lot of this is Masonic too, because Washington and them, yeah.
Yeah, and as I was saying earlier, Masonic, Freemasonry is all connected to the occult and to the worship of Saturn.
Wow.
Here we have, again, just keep that in mind, the symbol, right? You remember the Star Trek badge?
Yes. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Right? That's
the
what
V,
the
upside
Star
down
Trek
V.
badge is from.
Yeah.
Right? Their little clicker that they have.
Bloop, bloop.
That,
Beam me up,
they
Scotty.
communicate with. Right here we have that storm on the northern pole of Saturn, which is a hexagon, and hexagon is really a flattened out cube. Right, that flattened out cube is being used here in the Tree of Life, which is a black cube. That black cube is being worshipped at Mecca. Now remember, the color of Satanism is black and red. Right, so keep those colors in mind. And now we got the cube that's being used profusely, like everywhere. Now look at this. We have the cube right here, right, and we got the people going around it in concentric circles. What does that remind you of?
Saturn.
That looks like the rings of Saturn.
Yeah,
right?
sure
The rings orbiting Saturn. Here's a neat little glyph that kind of represents that.
Oh my gosh, look at that. Now, isn't that the same place they go to kiss that black stone that's embedded in the side of that building or something?
Yeah, the black stone is actually silver, and it's a meteorite that fell there like a long time ago, and they embedded it in the northeast corner. I believe it's the northeast corner. And back in the day, people used to go and kiss it, but because of the damage that was being caused to it, they encased it in silver. So now you can just like blow kisses at it rather than actually physically kissing it. Remember, imagine if they were kissing that today with the coronavirus going around. People would be fucked, right? Here we have a teflon, which the Hebrew, the Jewish people wear on their forehead when they're praying. That is similar to the Kaaba that we just saw. See, they have the black cube on, they're wearing it on their head. They put it on their arms. Here, see the circular motion, which is the representation of the rings of Saturn. Here we have the teflon that the Jewish people wear on their head, and then here we have the Kaaba at Mecca. Kaaba means cube. Here we have the cross that Christianity is symbolized for, but like I said earlier, geometrically it's actually a cube. So the three Abrahamic religions, Islam, Judaism, and Christianity, are in worship of the cube, and which is in worship of Saturn. Here we have the Solomon's temple. Each word Solomon is its a root meaning is the sun. Right, so we have Sol, which means in Latin sun. We have Om in Hindi, which means sun, and then we have On in Egyptian, which means the sun.
Right,
and we have, of course, the the Temple of Solomon with the two towers. Notice we have the two towers, and then here we have the bulls, which are being represented as Behemoth. Here again, we have the bulls, because of the horns, are being represented as Behemoth.
Wow.
Here we have cubes being profusely used, literally all over the planet, and we just don't pay any attention to it.
That's something.
This is
this
unreal.
right here.
Yeah.
This right here is the 9/11 memorial
right
with the black cube.
Oh.
Here we
That's
have
crazy.
Star Trek, the cube in Denmark. This is the Apple store on Fifth Avenue in New York. And again, another black cube in Australia. And then we have a red cube.
Oh my goodness.
We have the cube, the game console cube. Notice the colors again, black and red.
Black and red. Yep.
Right, here's some movies based on the cube. I won't play it, but just for examples on how the cube is profusely just being used, especially with the colors red and black. Let me just move forward. Here we have the X box. Now the X is the symbol of All-Father Time, right? X is a representation of an hourglass, which the Grim Reaper carries around with him, the god of time. Saturn is the god of time. Here we have symbology, Saturn symbology being used in movie intros, right? Of course, we have Walt Disney. We have a 66666.
Huh.
Here we have an X. Now the halo that we see around religious people is again a expression of Saturn, because it's showing the halo. Remember that picture that I showed you earlier of the four corners, the four rivers
Right.
of the world?
Yep.
Saturn appeared to have this halo around it. So we have all these angels and these religious figures that are being represented with halos around them. Again, the actual presentation, I'm going to go far deeper into it. Here we have the old Soviet Union. Here we have the Soviet Union's symbol, which was, if we really dig back and actually look at the physical evidence, you can find that it was the Rothschilds who created the old Soviet Union. Here we have the hammer and the sickle. And the hammer and sickle, here is the symbol of Saturn. There's the hammer, there's the sickle, which, again, the Grim Reaper carries around with him. Right, here again, we have Old Father Time. See, here's the sickle.
Carrying a sickle.
Here we have the symbol of the Jesuits. Here is the sickle. There's the hammer. There's the hammer. There's the number 8. Here we have this hook. See this hook right here? It's being used right here in the Nike symbol.
Oh, wow. Yep.
Here we have Old Father Time. This is Kronos. Here he has the hourglass. The hourglass is an X right here with the 2 towers. Right here we have Old Father Time, Grim Reaper. Here we have the hourglass. Here he is holding the sickle. I'll just carry forward. Now here we have some crowns. Crowns is again, it's for Cronus. We have crown, Cronus, and those who wear the crown, the blood families which were left behind here to administer the business of this reptilian force are crowned with Cronus, because they're the representatives of Cronus. So we have all these crowns across the globe that are using the symbology of Saturn. Here we have a crescent with a star, another one, crescent with a star.
Wow.
Here we have actually one with a cube. Notice a UFO right here.
Huh. That's awesome.
This is a Japanese imperial crown. Here we have the symbol of the sun. Remember earlier, the northeast, southwest, the 4 corners of the world. Right, so a lot of these crowns are based on that. Here we have Kali Ma, which is the Black Mother in India. She's the god of time. Again, here she has a sickle. She doesn't have the hammer, but she indeed does have the sickle, and she is the god of time. Here we have the god El. El is Cronus. Here we have Elohim. Then we have Archangel El. Archangels. Then we have Mike L.
Huh.
Catch
Wow.
up with me.
Yeah.
We have Mike L. We have Gabriel L. We have Uriel. We have Raphael.
Like my mom's name's Muriel. Yeah.
Another name for Jesus is
Muriel.
Emmanuel. Then we have the Gospels. Then we have the Chapel. Then we have the elders.
Oh, that's pretty amazing. Wow.
Then we have elevated. Then you have the priesthood that's elevated to priesthood. Then you have elections.
Huh.
Then we have, come on, catch up with me. Then we have pawns being elected to represent the elite. To represent the elite. Then we have Israel.
Wow.
It just goes on and on, brother. I'm
Yeah.
telling you. Here we have the bulls. Right? Remember, I was telling you earlier. Bull is an expression of Saturn,
Sure.
and also financially, Saturn rules. Saturn rules finances. It rules politics. It rules education. Here we have bulls outside of stock exchanges from around the world. I know the explanation and the reason. The bull and the bear. Right, which again is a false perception to make you think something otherwise, because it's a hidden message. They're not just going to come out and tell you that, hey, yeah, we're actually worshiping Satan, so we would really appreciate your support. And of course, people in their right mind would say, hell no.
You're right.
Right? So they came up with this, the bull and the bear, to keep the sheep at bay. Now, the thing that I really found interesting right here, Clarence, is that we have this bull in Dubai and we have this bull in Islamabad. Both countries are Islamic countries, and both countries are not allowed to worship any sort of idol or a statue. But yet, outside the stock exchanges, we have bulls.
It does something. Wow.
Yeah. Here's another one where I don't actually want to play this video. It's a bit disturbing, but back in the day, they had a bull. They hauled it out. They stuck a person in it. They lit a fire underneath it, and then a person inside would cook, and they would scream, and the bull would make all kinds of noises, and it would entertain the elite. Right, the golden calf in the Bible is a reference to Moloch. Right, Moloch is Cronus. He's the representative of, he's the expression of Saturn. Here we have some regalia, the royal regalia, again, black and red. Right, we have the Queen's Guardsman, black and red. Right, here we have Prince Harry and Prince, what's his name again? William, black and red. It just goes on. A lot of these uniforms are all in black and red. Right, see? Goes on and on, black and red. Even back in the day, my brother, see? Back in the day.
Well,
we got black and red, black and red. It's just constant. I can just go on and on and on. Again, we have the robes that people wear, and the graduation hat that you wear is a cube that you're wearing on your head, and the dome is the actual planet. So it's an expression of the planet. When they move that tassel from the right to the left, this is actually saying that you're now moving forward, where you're using, instead of using the left part of your brain, you're using the right part of your brain. Here we have the priesthood. Again, the black outfit, the costume, is an expression of Saturn. Here we have the judge's robe. Their robe is an expression of Saturn. Right, the hammer that the judge uses, again, is part of that hammer and the sickle.
Wow.
Here we have, Saturn symbolism being profusely used in corporate symbolisms. I won't play that video, but I'll just kind of scroll through over here. Here we have the rings again. The rings, the wedding ring that you wear around your finger when you get married is an expression of Saturn. Because he's the Lord of the Rings. Right. Here we have BMW. Here's the hourglass. Right, the hourglass again is a representation of Grim Reaper, and the Grim Reaper is the expression of Cronus. Here, this is very clear, Saturn. Here we have Chrysler with the star. Here we have the star of how the Saturn appeared with the four corners. Now remember that sign I was telling you, keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Right, here we have it.
Space Force.
This is the new United States Air Force, or the Space Force seal that they're using. Now I tried to decode the seal. Here we have the star. again, here we have Saturn. Here we have, this symbol right here, which is right here, Freemasonic symbol. Here we have Saturn. Here's the rings. Here's the rings. So this entire logo is extremely Saturnistic.
Yeah. Wow.
Right. And then here we have the Starfleet. Right. Remember this symbol, the four corners of the Earth. Here we have the rings. Here we have that same symbol right up here. Right here. Which is right here. Side by side, the two are identical because they're both Saturnistic. Then, of course, we have, Red Bull. We have ANA. We have, notice how this symbols kind of evolved, but not really.
Yeah,
right? The AAA, if you take the AAA and, you just kind of join them together, they look like that sigil of Saturn or the sigil of Freemasons. Here we have Chrome with 666, Walt Disney, 666, Vodafone. The M for the Great Architect, the Gmail. There's Facebook, AOL, Google Play Store, the All-Seeing Eye, the Eye of Providence, Google GPS. Here again, we have Ice Cube. See the rings?
Oh,
here's
my God.
Planet Saturn. Here we have Michael Jackson. See the rings. Here's his head, which represents Saturn. I could just go on and on. Here it is again, the Exxon symbol. Right, here's the sigil of Saturn, or the sigil of Freemason. They're both the same.
Wow.
Here is the a barcode. Every single barcode has this on it, 666. You can pick up a barcode right now, and you'll look, and you'll have this on there.
No kidding. Yep. Wow.
Here we have one of the original symbols of IBM. Right, here's the all-seeing eye. Right, the B is just there as symbolically, and M we know is connected to Saturn. Here we have the symbol of LG. Notice one eye is missing. What do they do usually with the eye? They cover it up, right? The one eye. Right, we have that. Here we have General Electric, 666.
That's part of the programming. Every day you're seeing all these different things.
Exactly.
That's right. These
All
symbols,
these different things.
these symbols, your energy goes into these symbols. And when your energy goes into these symbols, whatever that symbol is representing is where the energy is going to. So like I was saying earlier, they want to keep us at a low distortional vibratory scale. And through this false perception, which we're exposed to on a daily basis, and this symbols that they're constantly bombarding us with, we pay attention to these symbols. And when we pay attention to these symbols, our energy goes into it. And that energy, of course, goes back to Saturn, to Kronos. Like I was saying earlier, the Saturn control system, religion, secret societies, and Satanism is all worshiping Saturn. Banking, astrologically, is ruled by Saturn. Politics and the institutions of state at all levels is astrologically ruled by Saturn. Corporations, astrologically ruled by Saturn. Law in the court system, astrologically ruled by Saturn. Science, astrologically ruled by Saturn. So that's why when we look in a lot of what I just mentioned, you go and look at their corporate symbolism, you'll notice that there's a lot of Saturn symbology in there.
Huh. Wow.
Right here we have...
oh no, I see it. I see what's coming up here.
Right here we have the Charleston Heston type of white bearded god in the sky. Again, the white bearded sky is Cronus.
I knew that was
here
happening.
we have Cronus with a white beard.
Oh my God, we got the Coronavirus virus, and you got Coronas on that.
Exactly.
What is up with that?
Yeah, exactly. You'll notice one of my comments earlier on when the coronavirus started on Independent Research Society. I said Corona is actually a representation of Cronus. Right? So here's the weird part. Here we have a bunch of religious people from around the world, right, from different types of religions, all have bloody white beards. Right? This guy's got a white beard. Cronus has a white beard. Here we got the Jewish guy. Jewish guy's got a white beard. Here we have Cronus with a white beard. Here we have a Sikh with a
Oh,
white
boy.
beard.
That's
Here we have a Muslim with a white beard. Here we've got Santa Claus coming up. Where is he? Here we got Santa with a white beard. Kronos got a white beard. Here's a small collage of Kronos. Here's Kronos, the white bearded god up in the sky. And we have all these religious people from around the world trying to look like Kronos. Whether they're doing it knowingly or subconsciously, not too sure.
Well, didn't Moses also have a white beard? And
yeah, exactly. Moses
I
is trying to look like Kronos, because remember, he went up into the sky and visited God for a while. And what I would suggest is that when he went up there, he had some sort of a contact with some sort of an archonic force that shapeshifted into appearing to be human, but not really. That's kind of what the message what David Icke is saying, right? That the royal family, they're a bunch of shapeshifters and they're reptilians, but people just can't get beyond their brainwashing, where they think that because we're in this form, we're going to stay in this form, and that's all there's to it. But they don't realize that we're actually interacting with the matrix. And within that matrix, your thought is what projects your reality. So when this archonic force comes and they appear to be human, it's because they're vibrating at a same occupancy or same frequency as we are, where they appear to be human, but underneath that vibratory distortion, they're actually not humans. They're just they're reptilian.
Right.
But anyways, that's kind of as far as I've gotten with this presentation. So as you can see, it's I'm 365 images into it, and I've probably got another 100 or so to go. So once I'm done that, I think I should be pretty close to ready to share the information. And just remember, I just kind of whip through it, right? Like each image has a story behind it, right? And I skipped out on a lot because I don't want to take up too much of your time. I've already taken up a whole pile.
That's
fantastic.
Pretty cool. I like how you did that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the most comprehensive Saturn symbology videos or webinars that are going to be out there besides David Icke. David Icke has done a lot on Saturn, not too much, but he's done enough on Saturn to really have the most amount of information in the world about that topic.
Right.
So once I make this video, actually, I'm going to do it as a webinar. So once I do it, then this is going to be one of the most jam-packed. Anyways,
sure.
I don't want to or anything, but I've researched Saturn quite extensively, as you can see, and I've yet to come across any video that details
not like that.
symbology, how it's evolving from the crescent to the horns to the towers and so on and so on. Right.
Wow, that's awesome.
All right, guys, I've got to log off for the evening. I'll catch you guys around. Omar, that was awesome. Clarence, I love you, brother.
Yeah,
and I hope
Rob.
to speak to you guys soon.
Cool, man. It was nice talking with you, Rob.
Absolutely. We're going to catch up soon. So
yeah,
we'll
sure.
do this again.
Absolutely.
Have a good night, guys.
Thanks,
good night, everybody out there.
Mr. Rob Yoxtheimer, ladies and gentlemen. Cool. Yeah, there was a couple of questions here. Julie said, so if our moon was brought here 12,000 years ago, was it brought to take over the job of the pyramids used to do, or did it cause the pyramids to no longer work?
No, I think that's a good question, but I think what happened is, okay, first of all, there's a great detail of literature that that we have from the Akkadians. And Clarence, remember we did that show a couple of years back with Leonard from Orion Rising, Time Before the Moon?
Yeah.
And in that we touched on how the moon got here. So just a small synopsis on it. The Akkadians, in their literature, they were saying that the nights were black and there was no moon in the sky. And at that time, the Akkadians, they used to live off of berries and nuts. They didn't eat any meat because vibratorily, the distortion was very high. So for them, eating meat was not really in the picture. So, anyways, they said one day the moon just showed up, and that caused havoc on the Earth. Of course, the moon has a little bit of mass, and it also has a piezoelectric, a static electricity, which essentially what gravity is, and that caused the Earth to go into the tilt that it's in today. Because back in those days, the Earth was actually upright tilt like a top.
Mm-hmm.
So when you spin, like when you spin a top, it spins upright like that, and then when you touch it, it kind of wobbles, right? So when they brought the moon in, the Earth went into the wobble that it's in today. So when they brought that moon in, what had happened is that when they put that moon there, they put it there because they wanted to transmit the frequency which they were harnessing from Saturn. And that frequency they want to transmit through, concentrated effort, because you just can't take the frequency and just like send it through space, because it's like putting salt in water. It's just going to dissipate and it's going to go everywhere, and then you're not going to have anything to work with. So what these guys did was that they built these two moons. One looks like the Death Star from Star Wars, and the other one looks like you're taking two hats and clamped them together. So you have that equatorial region, which has a very high mountain ridge, and it looks like it's been welded together. So, and also, interestingly enough, both those moon have a hexagonic shape on it, right? So what I'm thinking is that through that hexagonic shape, they're harnessing the frequency of Saturn, and then from there they're transmitting it to the moon, and the moon is picking that frequency up and then retransmitting it, so that the Black Knight satellite picks up on it, and it can direct that frequency to pretty much where it wants. And I would suggest that it's pointing it to the Middle East, because when you look at the equatorial regions of our planet, they're highly disturbed for the last few thousand years. It's been constant war, constant murder, constant mayhem, constant starvation, disease. And when you have that type of atmosphere and that type of environment happening, you're going to have, a very, very low, dense, vibratory, distortion happening in that area. And then, of course, if you have a species that feeds off of that as their sustenance, they're going to want to keep that type of distortion in that area. And but best way to do it is through violence. When you kill, anything, your vibratory scale, your distortion comes down. So when it comes down, you become a perfect target, and you become food, and then you're prone to, illness, stress, constant pain, bad luck, things like that.
Wow, amazing. Oh, let's see here.
So that's my answer to that question.
That's awesome. I miss a couple here.
If you want to go get that stuff, baby.
Interesting how they can control our capacity of our brain. I'm not sure what she was talking about there. I forgot. I think this is when you were talking about the
Well, it's not that they're controlling our brain. As I stated earlier, I think what happened is that like 12,000, 15,000 years ago, when humans began emerging from the catacombs in the earth after a long ice age, and because this knowledge was lost and this archonic species had come across us, what they began doing was abducting our women.
right.
Because even today, when you look at the abduction rates, there's more women that get abducted than men. And also, abductions are hereditary, meaning that if you're a woman and that you've been abducted, chances are that your mother, your grandmother, your aunt, your sister, your daughters have all been abducted, because it's an ongoing experiment for the last 12 to 15,000 years.
Right.
What they did was they began enhancing or enlarging our reptilian brain. Our reptilian brain is the oldest part of our brain, which keeps us in a state of fear. It's that flight or fight. Right? When you get confronted with something, do you run away or do you fight? And that's the reptilian brain. So in order for them to enlarge that part of the brain, other parts of the brain would have to be made smaller. And hence, that's why we're not telepathic anymore. According to, when we go back and think about the Tower of Babel, when we spoke the same language across the world. Now, it's insane to think that we would be all speaking the same language across the world, because each one of us, each community has a different dialect right across the planet. Right? There's thousands of different types of languages to which we physically communicate with one another. And then when we have a global language that we're speaking in terms of telepathy, where we're exchanging thought rather than physical words. And that thought, that telepathic part of our brain was decreased so that we could no longer communicate in the way we were, so that we can communicate with one another. And then thus that gave us a bit, a handicap, because now we can't mount a defense against this archonic invasion, evasive species that's invaded us. So now we're confused because we can't communicate. Now, of course, we're going to fight, because we have this frequency that, number one's being transmitted onto us, and second, our brain is working against us. So we got this Anunnaki, right? Now we know the Anunnaki are reptilians, and we have the story of the Anunnaki where they come down to say, oh, well, we genetically created you. Well, yeah, in a sense that is right, where they've genetically created a new species of human compared to what we were in our previous pre-ice age, because at that time we were highly evolved. Like the yoga, for instance, comes from humans. It comes from giants, because in antiquity we were giants, and we also lived thousands of years, right? We have Noah in the Bible, who lived to be 900 years old, 1,000 years old. He was having kids at 700 years old. So if we can buy that story, then why can't we buy the fact that we were giants as well? And because we were clumsy, we did yoga so that we wouldn't, stub our toes, and so that we can physically walk around without injuring ourselves.
Right.
So I would suggest that people, look into the root races of our species, and from that, you'll get a really, basic education of how old humanity really is, and why we are in the state where we are today compared to what we were, just say 500,000 years ago. And as I said in the comments, humanity is at least 500 million years old. And Michael Kreml, Klaus Donna, have all given us evidence that shows that we have artifacts dating from that time.
That's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Wow. Well, my friend, gosh, we've been here 2.5 hours already. Can you imagine that? That's
wow,
great.
I love it.
Yeah.
Doesn't even seem like it.
No, I know it. It doesn't. Time really fly by. No doubt about it.
Cool, man. Thanks for letting me come on and voice my opinion.
I loved it. Yeah, plus it gave us a good test on the show, too, to make sure. Because I didn't know if you could screen share it on your end or not, because like I said, I don't know what the other side looks like. I'm always the one on the front side. So, yeah.
It works pretty cool. In fact, I'm going to use it.
Good.
Right?
Good deal.
You signed up for it. I signed up for it as well, but I got the free version, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm going to try it probably here in the next few days.
The only difference that you have that I, is like I got the banner down below and stuff, and I can make other overlays and stuff like that. Other than that's the only difference.
Yeah.
So
reminds me of Zoom. You just send a link and off you go.
Yeah. Except this is all browser.
All that shit, right?
Yeah. Except this is browser based. It doesn't crash your computer. Matter of fact, my computer, the fan never even kicked on all night tonight.
I love it.
And that's a first for me,
Yeah, I hear you. I was streaming earlier, like Steve's show, and I had 1,086 notifications of how I wasn't sending enough frames. But,
wow.
It was a total problem. So, that's like one of the main reasons why I really stopped streaming, Clarence, is, before I used to stream like 4, 5, 6 times a week, right?
Yeah.
There's been a couple of things have happened. Number one, Facebook, they censored me, right? And then shadow banned me.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then I go to YouTube, and YouTube is kind of doing the same thing to me, right? And then second, the equipment that I'm using, it just doesn't seem to jive right?
Right.
Like I thought I can use Skype, and then I tried to use Skype, and then XSplit went fucked around and changed up the things to where, I can't capture the window from Skype, and if I do, I've got like 10,000 screens on it.
Right.
Then I thought, okay, I'm going to use Hangouts, and then I tried to use Hangouts, and the signal isn't strong enough. So it's like, holy shit, man!
I
It's just
know.
like no win, right? So it's like, okay, I'm just going to do like quality over quantity now, and just
Exactly.
kind of leave it at that, right?
Well, I tell you, this outfit here, they're kind of new. I mean, they're probably a couple years old now or whatever, but they're still adding on. They're doing a hell of a job as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, it's great. It really
Yeah,
is.
fantastic. I love it. I've been working with a buddy, Mr. Erdman, there
Oh,
for
yes.
the last little while, and every time he tries to use his Google Hangouts, it crashes on him, right? It doesn't work. So he's like, I think we're just going to have to scrap the idea of our show. And I really don't want to do that because
Right.
Mr. Erdman, he's one of my mentors, right? I'd learned a great deal from him. So it's like, okay, and then after when you put it in the comments today that you're using this platform, I was like, okay, well, after the stream is done, I'm going to go check it out, see what
Right.
it is. I haven't checked it out, and then remember I was saying I sent myself a message, and I had myself on the phone, and I had myself on this camera as well, and things were working just fine, but I just didn't know about sharing window. And then
Mhm.
now that you shared your window, or I shared my window, and it worked out perfect, you know what I'm going to be using now, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
If
Hey,
it's free,
Mr.
it's for
Herb.
me.
Mr. Herb, they're a good friend of mine there from work. How are you, sir? Long time no see. Yeah. I'm glad to see these guys are still hanging in. Cool. All righty. All right, my friend. Well, unfortunately, I'm sorry, Herb, that you came in kind of late tonight, but are getting ready to close her out here. But, you can always catch these shows either on YouTube or on Facebook. They're always archived and, downloaded. And, when you do watch them, just give them a good like or a thumbs up or whatever. YouTube now has changed their whole thing. They want you to have 1,000 subscribers plus 400 and some odd hours of watch time before you're allowed certain things.
Yeah,
You
that's what
know,
I'll do, Clarence.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I had my channel monetized, and then I didn't have 1,000 subscribers, so they cut the monetization, and then I got 1,000 subscribers, and then they gave me my monetization back, right? But that 400 hours of view time, by the time you actually get 1,000 subscribers, you're gonna like way past that 400
Yeah.
400 hours of view time, right? I was going to suggest to the people that are watching on Facebook that when you see Clarence's streams come on Facebook, he's streaming on YouTube as well.
Right.
So, what I do is I open up the window on YouTube as well. And then I go at YouTube and I like it and I share it, because what that does is that it raises the video in their algorithms. Right, it sees that this video is being engaged with, this video is being liked, so they start showing it as a recommended video to other people, and then as well that brings in subscribers and view hours for you as well, right? So people want to help Clarence out. Best thing to do is that when you see the stream, leave Facebook and go to YouTube and watch it there, and begin commenting there, because it shows that this channel is being interacted with, and that'll give Clarence a higher chance and a better chance of monetizing and reaching that 1,000 marker. And then this way, when he streams on YouTube, he's able to make a little bit of money off of YouTube, and then at least that will help pay for your platform, right?
Right.
Sure, we're not in it to make money, but it's always good when somebody, some platform, your hard work can pay it off and say, okay, well, I made $25 this month, and
right.
25
That covers the cost.
Platform here, so nothing out of my pocket.
Right.
Right. So, that'll be a really cool thing to do when, Clarence, streams. You want to have 0 viewers, 0 watchers on Facebook, and you want to have like 100 on YouTube. And that's the best way of going about doing things, man. So, you guys want to help Clarence out, do that, please.
Oh, that'd be cool. Thank you. Julie says, I subscribe to Clarence on YouTube, but don't get comment capability. Wow, really? Okay.
If you're using it from a mobile, just right underneath the video, there's like a little arrow that you press, and then when you press that, it says chat, right? And then it opens up the chat. But if you're on your PC, then then it shouldn't be an issue. But
Oh, I bet they're on their TV. That's what it is. It's YouTube on TV.
also, Clarence, if you're on YouTube and you tell YouTube that this is a kid friendly a stream, then they'll shut the comments off on you. It happened to me yesterday. I was like, okay, well, I want kids to watch Michael Feely, right? I want them to understand what's going on here, and if any come across, so I checked it off as made for kids, right? And then I started noticing it said that my comments are disabled, and I was like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Right? I went and investigated a little bit, and then it said, oh, well, because your video is made for kids, the comments is disabled on it. Now I was like, well, I don't want to have that. I want to have a little bit of engagement happening on my video, right? So, that's a bit of a downfall there. But the good news is that Michael Feely's going to start writing kids' books too. So
yeah, well, see, and this is all algorithm. See, this is all the whole thing about it. It's about the damn AI deal that they're putting in. See, and they're claiming that the kids thing, of course, that's actually a communications network deal, and so if you say that your channel is kid friendly, they will block the comment section because of predators that come in and prey on kids. That's that whole deal about that. See, so I mark mine. No, mine is not good for kids, and unfortunately, I mean, that's the only way you can get around it. So
I want kids to watch my channel because I really don't have anything graphic on my channel.
Well, there's really nothing
esoteric information, but unfortunately, they shut the comments off, and I can't really have that, right? I want people engaging. I want people asking questions, and it's kind of too bad. But I'm going to keep my eye out on that for the future, because I really, I feel that like for instance, yesterday's content with Michael Feely. Kids should be watching that. They should be listening to it anyways. Even if they don't understand it, it's going to stick in their brain, and later on in life, and they're going to say, "Hey, I watched that video that one time by that bald guy, and he was saying this, and that kind of makes sense, right?" So that's kind of what my aim is with my channel, right?
Well, here's the thing, though: if you market, not for kids or whatever, or you're not making it for kids, what's stopping them from watching it on your channel anyway?
Yeah.
There's no restriction. They can go on YouTube anytime they want and look at any channel they want. There's nothing to stop the kid from watching it.
No,
so
there's absolutely nothing.
I don't get it,
Well, Clarence, it's like here in Canada, what the government just did. My wife and I were talking about this last night. They raised the price of a pop. Right, so a can of pop is going to cost 8 cents extra. Now, the mentality behind it is that because it's going to cost 8 cents extra, it's going to curb kids from drinking pop. Right?
You gotta be kidding me.
Amy and I were like, "Wow, that's some pretty backwards thinking." Because all that's going to do now is cost the parents 8 cents extra, because the kid's not going to stop fucking drinking pop.
No,
because the price went up by 8 cents. Like, come on, if the kid says, "Hey, I want Coke," the parent's going to go out and buy that Coke, give it to their kids. So raising the price and taxing shit isn't going to solve the problem. And the same thing goes over here. They say, "Oh, well, we want you to make your channel kid friendly, and we're going to disable comments and blah blah blah." Well, what about if the kid just comes to my channel and starts watching it?
Exactly. There's nothing to stop a kid. It ain't like that they're holding up a photo ID in front of their camera saying I'm legal, or you know what I'm saying, or anything like that. There's no way to stop them. So I don't get any of that stuff.
Number in there to prove how old you are.
Exactly.
It was like back in the day. Remember, Facebook was for adults only.
Right. Yeah.
You got like all these millions of kids on there, and they weren't doing anything about it.
There ain't nothing they can't do. I mean, seriously.
Like, wow, man, it's just ridiculous. These people, they don't think. They're delusional, and they're not living in the same frequency wave as the rest of us. They got some backwards thinking. And that's why we're in the trouble that we are today, because of their backwards thinking. You know, they're bringing in thinking from like the 1930s and 40s into the 2020s. You know, that mentality isn't just going to work over here. You know, you're 80 fucking years old, like Bernie Sanders, for instance, right? 80 years old, the guy's trying to become prime minister or president. You know, I got Donald Trump, who's like 75 years old, just out there doing shit. You know, when was the last time you seen a 70-year-old out there just doing shit? You know, it's just,
I know.
You know, it just doesn't make any sense, man. We need young people, you know, like our age, from our generation, you know, representing us, because they're on the same wavelength as we are. They understand. You know, if a kid from today, you know, goes up to one of these old politicians and says, "I want this and I want that," the old politician's going to look at him that's born in the 30s, and he's going to say, "Well, you know, when I was your age, I didn't even have any running water in my house, so deal with it." Well, no, this kid was born in 2010. It's not going to know how to fucking deal with it. This is their reality. This is what they know, right? So this whole thinking, it's, you know, it's not working. We need to get rid of these guys, and we need to bring in people that are of our age,
right?
You know, that are on the same wavelength as us. You know, maybe 10 years older. You know, guys in their 50s.
Well,
so
you know what's wrong about that though? Nobody has the money. That's what it takes. When you got people like Bloomberg.
That's right.
When you got people, he's got tens and thousands of billions of dollars, and every time you turn on your TV or you go to YouTube or you go to anything, the first damn commercial you see is that son of a bitch, and you got to watch it because YouTube, and this is another thing that pisses me off. Now I'm on a rant. Look out. YouTube will not put the skip ad deal on the bottom of the skip ad, you know, where you can skip the ad until that stupid video is all the way through. They force you to watch that. Son of a bitch.
But hey, man, you know, it's your choice if you watch it, right? Because you can just always mute it, go to another window, and not expose yourself to it, right? But again, you know, I understand your point, where you know, they force you to watch it, and I'm guilty of it. I'll sometimes sit here and I'll watch it, and you know, and I won't switch. But
well, no, it's just they don't give you a choice, because I want to see that particular video, but they'll put his goddamn commercial on it because he paid YouTube $10 million to show it, and they removed the skip ad button, you know, just so you have to watch it. It's ridiculous.
It is,
you know?
man.
You're talking about forcing shit in your face. So what kind of crap is that? You know
what, you know, I'm not a very political person. You know,
me either.
I advocate against it. I say don't vote. Because you're just throwing fuel on the fire. But you know, when it comes to the field of play right now, you know, all these guys that they got going on, right? Like Bernie Sanders and what's his name, Mike Bloomberg, and Warren something or other, and all these people. You know, none of them stand a chance in hell, because Donald Trump, you know, personally, you know, he's going to win the next election as well, because you know, he's done good for the states, and he's going to win. He has the momentum behind him. You know, I'm not a big Donald Trump fan either. You know, believe me.
Right.
You know, I think he's all right, but you know, I'm not his biggest fan. You know, I watch his shit more for for comedy. You know, a lot of shit he says makes me laugh. Right? It's like watching Truth Vlog. Right? You know, he makes me laugh, but some of the shit that he says, you know, it's makes sense. Sure, he's helped the American economy, and he screwed a couple other economies over, like Canada's economy, for instance. Now we have to pay the price. You know, Mexico's economy, whatever. You know, I really don't care. You know, because all of this shit is predestined and it's pre-planned. So you know, it's a waste of time. You know, this left-right thinking. And how they got people pitched against people. You know, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, I'm a liberal, and I'm a conservative. You know, and I'm a labor, I'm a Nazi. You know,
I'm just a person.
These people don't understand. You know, you're none of those. You're a human being at the end of the day. You know, you're not a left, you're not a right. You know, do the right thing. You know, don't cop out and give the bullshit excuse of, you know, I voted for the lesser evil. You know, if you believe that person is the lesser of two evils, fuck, don't vote for him.
Right.
Don't give them the votes, because remember, when you give them the votes, you're giving them money as well, because they're going to say, oh, well, we got 20 million votes and each vote is worth $10. So, you know, now we get $200 million, or we get $40 million, or we get $80 million, and we're going to use that money in our next election. You know, you're just giving these people more, power than what they should really have. If they're lesser of the two evil, just say no, I'm not voting, and have a global fucking sit down. Really,
Yeah.
I've been calling this for a long, long time. Have a global sit down. Just sit your ass down wherever you are. First of the month comes along. Don't go to work. Don't pay your bills. Don't pay your mortgage. Don't pay your rent. Don't pay your car. Don't pay fucking nothing. Just go into your city hall, and everybody in the city just sit down. Don't do anything. What are they going to do? Kick you out of your house? There's nobody working. Right. What are they going to do? Come and repo your car? There's nobody working. Right. Then the government's going to sit and they're going to listen. And if you say, well, we don't trust any single fucking one of you and you all need to go, then they're all going to go because the people are the one that have the power. Right? Yeah. But unfortunately, people are stuck in this brainwashed thinking that they need money.
Never happened.
Oh, I need money. It's not even real. It's fake shit. It's a piece of paper. It's an IOU that you're passing around thinking that you're wealthy because you got a couple of IOUs in your pocket. The best thing I think people can do for themselves, man, is when election day comes, just don't vote. Sit down and force your government to acknowledge you and force your government to see you as a human being, not as a person, a juridical person that's created on paper, not a citizen, someone who's under servitude to a crown or to some sort of a constitution. Show them that you're a human being and that you deserve your human rights and that you're demanding those human rights. And until, like I said, man, these people see you as persons, artificial people. They see you as citizens. And when you're a citizen and you're screaming for rights, on paper, they're laughing at you. They're going, you have no rights because you're a slave, because you're a citizen. Go look it up. Look up the definition of a person, a citizen, and a human. And then once you see the definition of those three and you understand the definition of those three, then you'll realize your place in society. And then you'll say, okay, well, I'm not a fucking person. I'm not a citizen. I'm a human. Right? I used to say, see that flag back there?
Yeah.
I used to say to myself, oh, I'm a proud Canadian citizen. And for me, I might as well have said, I'm a proud because that's really who I am. Because what I'm saying is that I'm proud to be a slave of Queen Elizabeth II. I'm a dude, and I accept her as my ruler and as my boss, and I will do whatever she tells me. If I lay down, she can walk on me. And essentially, that's what I'm saying when I say I'm a proud citizen of that flag, because I'm acknowledging the fact that I'm a slave. Right? I'm not. I'm a human being. I was born as a live birth, and I'm going to die as a live human being. And anywhere in between, when they tried to tell me, look at any document that you get. Your name's written in capital letters. Look at the, how they write the names of corporations. When you're born, they give your parents two pieces of paper to sign. One is a registration of birth. The other one's a live birth. Guess which paper they give you? They give you the registration paper and they keep the live birth because they don't want your parents to come back later and say, hey, look, my kid is not a citizen. My kid is not a person. My kid was born as a live person. So if you don't have any documents to prove that you were born as a live person, then you'll be considered as a person or a citizen. Right. But look at your constitution. It says every citizen has the right to vote. And then when you look at another part of the Constitution, it says every person has the right to welfare. Every person has the right to education. So why is it that it's not saying every citizen has the right or every person has the right? Every person has the right to vote. Right? With a person, you're limited to your privileges and rights that you get. And as a citizen, you have certain rights and privileges that you get. And that's it. So when you're sitting there screaming, I'm an American citizen, I have rights. Well, you actually don't, because you're acknowledging that you're an American slave, and slaves under the definition of law have no rights.
Right.
Okay? So you need to stop with that. I'm a Canadian citizen, I'm an American citizen, I'm a Russian citizen, I'm a Japanese citizen, I'm an American citizen. Yeah. Fuck, stop with the citizen part.
I'm a citizen.
You're not a fucking citizen, man. You're a human being.
Remember, being. Yeah.
If you're a citizen, you're acknowledging that you're a slave and you're limited to your rights and privileges. And that's why the government isn't listening to you, because they're just sitting there laughing at you, saying, look at that slave thinking that it has rights. And they're not even
our number.
It thinks it has rights.
Yeah.
Okay? So just keep that in mind next time you say that you're a proud American citizen or a Canadian citizen or whatever kind of citizen, right? Or even an Earth citizen for that matter, because I heard that one too. I'm a citizen of the Earth.
Right.
Well, the Earth has laws and rules too, right?
Absolutely.
So, you got the
Smack you
UN
down.
with the horns and the sniper pointed at the Earth. So don't go thinking because you're claiming to be an Earth citizen and not a boundary citizen that you have certain type of rights or anything like that. But you don't, man. It's all in the definition of the law. These people play the law on us. When you want something from them, they come back at you with a legislation of some sort, right? They say, oh, this legislation says that you can't do this and you can't do that. You don't have a right to that, so fuck you. Right? So what you need to do is you need to go and research and read the papers and find the net definitions and use those same legislations and laws that have been passed for the human being against them. So you play a legislation against the legislation. And that's the only way to win against these people. The minute you start screaming, I'm a citizen, I have rights, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. Because really,
yeah, exactly. Alrighty, my friend.
8-page seminar, they're a little manifesto. A couple of weeks ago, I outlined it, and they're very, very, diligently the difference between persons and citizens and shit like that. So, maybe I'll share it, and if somebody wants to have a read at that, they can. But anyways,
hey,
my brother from another mother.
Yes, sir.
I love you, brother.
Love you too, man. No doubt.
Yeah, we connected right from day one, man. We've done good. I love you. We've done some badass shows.
Vita says, I haven't voted in for a long time. I'm doing it right.
When I do my Saturn webinar, I'd like to stream it on Closer Encounters first.
Cool.
And then we'll stream it. Actually, there'll be two places where we'll simultaneously we'll stream Closer Encounters and Orion Rising. Awesome. I love you too. He's my brother.
Yep.
You two are can't say one is my favorite and the other one's not.
Nope, we're all pretty much the same.
Yeah, man. I appreciate.
Leonard just got back on. I just seen his video just the other day where he came back, so we know he's up and running again. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, he's been at it for a bit. We just haven't had the chance to do the Loft one. I've been just going through a lot of shit here on my end.
Sure.
This year didn't start off too good for me.
I don't think anybody did.
Yeah. And haven't really found any time to do anything.
Right.
Luckily, yesterday I was able to stream Michael Feely. He contacted me a few days ago and he said, "Hey, you want to do that webinar?" And he wanted to do it exclusively on Watchers Talk because this was the presentation he did in San Francisco. Right. So he did it on Watchers Talk, and I couldn't turn that down. I was like, yeah, definitely, I'm down on that. And then talked to Steve Meads a couple of days ago. I was like, I'll stream that interview of ours, and let's see if we can get more exposure to it.
Absolutely.
What you did, that video clearance from today had 1,100 views.
Wow.
By the time it came to an end, so it was quite a success. So
absolutely, great deal.
That too, man. I really appreciate it.
I tell you,
thank you very much, my brother. I appreciate everything you do.
Hey, I appreciate you too, man. No doubt.
Talk and vent a little bit.
Yes. All righty. Okay, folks. Well, we're going to end it off here. And I just want to thank everybody for being here and staying with us tonight. And, we talked about that coronavirus and stuff, earlier. Just, keep one thing in mind. Okay.
All is well. Remake.
You like that one, man?
I love it. I love it. Okay, everybody. Everybody have a good evening, and thank you very much for being with us. I really do appreciate it. I want to thank you all for listening to Closer Encounters. Please remember to like, follow, and share. And until we meet again, keep your eyes to the skies. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Awesome.
Did a little bit of damage to that. That's why I probably was running off with my mouth.